Hello and welcome to another web-swinging, spidey-sensing, spectacular, amazing, superior edition of In PS We Trust, a PlayStation podcast. This is episode 78 and I am one of your hosts, Davey. Alongside me, as always, is the fine wine himself, Mr. Philip Hoy.
Be greater together.
And the little Miles in our group, the young little protege himself, Spencer Davis.
Hello. Thanks for having me again for the 78th time. Hello, lads.
How's it going, guys? How you all keeping? You all doing all right?
Yeah, I mean, I've just come off an illness. So I'm all right now, but my skin's suffering for it. I got spots out the wazoo, and I've never really had spots. So it's a change.
Is that why you got the cap on? If you took the cap off, is your head just covered in spots? Is it like
Mate,
just
I got, you
spotty
can
head?
see a few peeking. I got 1 year. Big one up here.
Oh, shit, yeah. You've had a proper breakout,
Yeah.
bro.
Mate, it's a nightmare. I've never had a breakout. I don't know what's going on.
Christ.
Don't worry too much about that, Spence. We can work that out in colour correction afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think me and Phil do? We got no lines under these lights. But, you know, turn the lights off and we're like fucking... It's been a hard life, mate. Only 34, but, you know, looking about like 62 over here. And Phil, fucking hell, he's just skeletal at this point. He's like... He's like in Indiana Jones, you know, when that guy drinks that... It's like that guy in Indiana Jones who drinks out the wrong goblet, where he's like, Jesus would have really liked this nice sparkly goblet. So, don't know if he would. And he drinks it, and then he's like fine at first, and then it's like... it starts getting him. But anyway, let's move the show on. Listeners, we have got an absolute smorgasbord of news to go through today. We got so much to go through. And, of course, this is the first episode since Spider-Man 2 has released. We are going to be going through our full thoughts on the game. We're each at different parts through it. And so we're going to make it a topic, so we can just go as long as we want to. So if you are here just for the Spider-Man 2 hype train, please go and check that out on the timestamps below, and then come back to this point, because you'll have missed some juices that we got coming up for you. Now, speaking of juices, we always kick the show off with a question. Spence, I believe this time the question, unfortunately for me and you, Phil, has landed on Spence. So what have you got for us, mate?
All right. Well, I'm not going to keep with my usual rule of thumb. I know I say this every time, but today is genuine. It's just a nice question for you boys.
Oh, God.
It actually is. Don't worry.
I don't believe it.
So, my question for you boys, more of a situation. You're stranded on a deserted island, all alone, and you've got, let's say, in 3 years' time, you'll be saved. You're allowed one video game to keep for those 3 years to play. It's the only thing you can play throughout that time. What video game do you choose?
Ooh. There's a couple of questions that spring to my mind immediately. Do we have internet connection, or is this got to be like a single player game that you're going to play for 3 years continuously?
I would say, I was going to say the game works as intended. So if it's an internet game, it has internet, but you're on a desert island, doesn't make a lot of sense. Let's say you could play an online game, but I don't think you'd have much fun. So let's just say you have internet, but it's Davey's internet. It's really shit.
And is there anything stopping me when I get into any of these lobbies just being like, help me, I'm here. They said it's 3 years away before I get saved. Please, God, come and help me. Or is it a case that I don't have voice comms?
You don't have a mic, mate. You ain't got no mic.
All right. Okay. All right. And no chat to speak. I can't cheat this in any way to get out of what could, for me, be a death experience. 3 years on my own, I'd crack. I'd be mental within 2 weeks, I reckon. It's only so long you can speak to like a ball, you know? I don't know how Tom Hanks didn't murder people when he came back to civilization. I would be that guy. If they found me and all I had was like a Wilson-esque thing, or in this case a video game, I'd come back and there'd be murders. They would. So, you know, and that island, if it wasn't deserted, would be by the time anyone gets there 3 years later, because I'd have killed them all. But yeah, enough of my own psyche breaking. What game would I take? Now, this is a hard one, because I was thinking about this online thing as much as Phil was. And originally I was thinking, oh, COD, right? COD's great. And 3 years I can get cracked. But the issue is, after 1 year, it's dead, COD. So that's out of the question. Everyone moves on to the next one. I wouldn't have the next one. So that's out of the question. And as much as I love like Metal Gear, I don't think I could play it every day for 3 years. Like, there's no way. There's only so much you can do in a single player game. I think for me, I think I'd have to go Apex Legends, I think that's going to be my choice. Because I think for 3 years, you got constant updates. It doesn't change. So it won't be that I get left behind in the dust. And in 3 years of just playing Apex, I could become absolutely cracked out the arse. And, there's something to do, at least. And even if I can't speak to my teammates, which would be horrendous, I can still start getting real good at the armor swaps and killing people, right? And my movement, I can just work on, get in the training lab and just work on all my wall jumps and all my advanced movement tech and figure it all out, just become a god of Apex. That would at least keep me from killing more people when I come back. It might save one person's life. And if it's one, that's enough, right? That's enough. But that's what I'd do, Spence. Apex.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. To be fair, it's the answer I kind of expected from you. Phil, mate, I'm hoping you'll chuck a blinder out. What's your choice?
Well, I think my choice is a pretty obvious one if you know anything about me, because I did spend 3 years of my life, if not 4 years, if not 5 years, playing one game and one game in particular. I didn't really leave my room very often. I kind of visited university a little bit now and again just to sort of clock in and sort of show my face and submit a little bit of work from time to time. But outside that, I was just playing this one game. And that one game is World of Warcraft. There is so much content in that game. And I'm talking about the vanilla. I'm talking about the release game of World of Warcraft that came out in November 2004. Now, I started that on the beta. So I played through all the testing and then got into the game in a big way. I was responsible for one of the most progressive clans at the time on the Alliance side. We were doing all the world's first without being world's first. Well, maybe not world's first, but server first stuff. And we really had a great time. We built up a massive community, and I still look back on that time with very fond memories for playing the game. But socially, it was pretty much a dark zone for me. I didn't really go out a lot, as I mentioned. University took a really big dip. I almost failed my first year of university because of World of Warcraft, and I've never gone back. I may have gone back for one of the updates afterwards just to dip in. But yeah, I've resisted it. I've come to PlayStation now. I'm not a World of Warcraft guy anymore. But you hear about these crazy stories of people really hardcoring World of Warcraft and never even leaving their desk. I heard the rumor about people having poop socks. I don't know if you guys know what a poop sock is, but you don't have to go to the toilet because you literally poo in your sock. You have a bucket of piss next to you and you poop in your sock because you cannot leave the computer. Now, you giving us internet connection on this desert island, I think I'd be fine. I don't think I'd even notice I was stranded if I was playing World of Warcraft. I had nothing else to do. I'd have a longer beard than I have now. I'd have slightly longer hair than I've got now, but I think I'd enjoy myself. I'd be level 60. I'd be sat there with my Thunder Fury, full epics. I'd be on top of the world, mate. Send me to this desert island now.
I want to know about this poop sock, if you don't mind. I want to unpack this a little bit. And now I know you've got no experience of the poop sock yourself, right? You said you've made that quite clear. I'm kind of doubting that, though. I'm kind of thinking there's a bit more to this story than meets the eye, like a transformer, if you will. So the poop sock, we're talking just a traditional sock here. So you just, what? I mean, like, I look down at the toilet bowl after I've gone, and it's like a shotgun blast, right? It's literally like, it's everywhere. I don't know, if you're like shitting out a log, I guess a sock could work, right? But I'm lactose intolerant, mate. I haven't seen a log in years, And I mean, on that desert island, obviously, I'm not eating much dairy products, I imagine. So I probably would be under control. I'll probably be healthier than I am now because I wouldn't have cheese or milk or any of that stuff. But what do you do with this sock? Like, do you just hold it over your ass and literally just go? Or is this some kind of technique that I'm not fully grasping here? Do you have to put your hands in and spread the sock open to really funnel the shit into? I really want to get visceral with this. I want to understand this.
Okay, well, this isn't quick news, so I'm not doing an impression for you, Davey, but I'll try and paint a picture for you.
Please.
The same way it was painted for me when we were playing World of Warcraft and we were sat on Ventrilo all those years ago, and the rumour was going round about these people that would never leave their computer. They would almost do shifts in front of their computer with someone else, and the person would swap in every 12 hours, and then they would go to sleep, come back, sit in front of WoW, just to be the most progressive out of everybody. And there was those people out there, but the rumour was the way they went to toilet, and I didn't do it. You correctly identified that, Davey, because as you know from visiting me in my comatose state when I was over the computer shaking and you were trying to force vodka on me and nights out to Chepstow, and I was like, no, leave me alone. I just want to play WoW. I don't want to go outside and talk to women. I want to look at my night elf rogue. Leave me alone. But anyway, I was my bedroom was right next to the toilet in my house, so it was only a short dash when I was doing a raid and then back to the computer. So I was able to dump my waste in the correct way. But the rumor was, and I think you'd have to have the right choice of sock here, wouldn't you? Right? You kind of would want to go for a sports sock, I would assume, as opposed to one of those naked socks that you can't see when you just wear trainers. You know what I mean?
I thought you meant a trainer sock then. Yeah, I was going to say the wrong choice.
I'm talking about the ones that go up to your knee.
The
like you're
tube
playing
socks.
football. Yeah, like a sports sock.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, all right. The one that comes to your knee anyway. So you've got a bit of space to experiment then, haven't you? So as you're bent over, forcing it out, you could almost catch as much of it as possible rather than just peeling a little tiny sock over your arsehole. But that's how I'd imagine it would work. I didn't put too much thought into it at the time. I just thought it was ridiculous because I live next to a toilet. It was completely easy for me to go. But those guys that had a bit more of a dash than me, maybe that was the right choice. And maybe they got to level 60 before me. You never know. Maybe the sacrifice was worth it.
I mean, the thing about it is, if you can fit a shin pad in one of those sports socks, you can easily fit a dump, couldn't you? So maybe there's something to that. I think that's probably a smart option. Yeah. Well, thank you for that. I think
it's different, mate.
Oh yeah.
I think that's not how it works at all. I think they just have a little hole in their seat that they poo through, and you're basically a vegetable when you're a WoW player. You don't do anything. You don't eat. You don't bathe. You just sit there and poo and play WoW. I think the parents come in, much like you would when walking your dog. They put the sock on their hand, and then they pick up the poo and turn it inside out. And the parents just treat you like a vegetable dog.
Oh my God, no. That's horrific. I mean, my parents used to come in and feed me and water me, but they weren't picking up my shit at the time. Oh, sir. Jesus, Spence, that's a horrible image.
Yeah.
But now we've got a thumbnail.
Me with a tube sock on my hand.
Jesus Christ.
Well, fair enough. To be fair, you boys have gone for the longevity play with your choice of games. You've gone for the, what could I do to stay entertained? I would say probably Davies is a better choice, just because you will have definitely been sacked by your job, Phil. And that's just £10 a month coming out with World of Warcraft. Whereas Apex is a free-to-play game. So that's the one leg up. I would rather be playing WoW, though, out of the two. My choice, if I was alone, I would just take Super Mario 64. And I would come back with the fastest world record speedrun anyone has ever seen. And then I'd be massive on Twitch and I'd be set for life. And that'd be it. Easy.
I can imagine after 3 years of playing nothing but Mario 64, it would cause like shell shock. You know, every time you'd see it start like booting up on like an N64 or however you're playing it, and it just begins, and you know, you start with that stupid camera guy in front of Peach's castle, that would start triggering you, and you'd think back all the way back to what you've gone through and how you've survived this torturous time on this desert island.
Well, little speedrunning trick for you there, my friend. If you jump on the far left side of the bridge over to the door, you skip him.
Ah.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
I'll never trigger that. If I ever missed a skip on stream, I'll be like, but other than that, it's fine. As long as I hit that skip, I'll be okay.
Now, I don't know a lot about speedrunning. I've dabbled and I've seen a few bits and pieces. I've talked to a few people who claim to be into speedrunning. But it's all about the community, I've heard, right? So if you're on this desert island, you've got no one to speak to. So you've got 3 years to figure this out by yourself. Now, I don't think many speedrunners actually figure it out by themselves. Generally, they share tasks, don't they? They split up the video game, they take a certain area, and they try and run it faster. Then the next person comes through, runs it even faster, and goes, well, I did it X way, and I did it Y way. How would you do that in 3 years, Spence? Because you're just fighting yourself. It's just a mind game. You'd be constantly just trying to one-up yourself.
Yeah, that's the whole goal of speedrunning, baby. Beat it faster next time, and eventually you learn tricks. You will learn yourself. I already know how to do 16-star run in 20-something minutes. So I would just be bringing that time down. I already know my tricks. I just got to perfect the game.
But wouldn't that be awful? You've spent 3 years, you're there patting yourself on the back, and you walk out and you look online, and Phil Hoy's done it faster. Whee! And I'm there like this at the airport. Lucky boy. 3 years. I just looked online and followed a guide. Wake up. How would you feel?
I'd be okay, because I believe my movement from the 3 years would be better, and I would just watch the same guide and do it faster. The only issue I'd have is because all I have is this one video game. I wouldn't actually know how fast I'm beating the game. I would just have to be like, oh, that felt quick. And then that'd be it. That's my only dilemma. I'd have to come back after the 3 years and be like, all right, how fast am I? And then, yeah, it's slow as shit. But that's the hope to improve. A chance to better myself in this single pointless aspect.
Well, fair play to you, Spence. I mean, I'd definitely rather take WoW or Apex any day rather than just Mario 64. But audience, please let us know right into the show, right into our email, pswetrust@gmail.com, or, and more preferably, hit us up on Twitter, @InPSWeTrust, and let us know, what game would you take on a desert island trip for 3 goddamn long years? Now let's move the show on to what we've been playing.
This time on NPS We Trust, what have the boys been playing?
So guys, it's been 2 weeks since our last podcast episode, and I'm desperate to know what you've been up to in that time. So Spence, last episode, we were discussing the Modern Warfare 3 beta, and we'd only done week 1 of the beta. Since then, of course, we've had another couple of weekends, and the betas have all finished, so we've seen our final kind of take on Modern Warfare 3 before its release in November. Coming off the betas, how are you feeling? Because you were quite positive on the last episode. Has that kind of changed over time?
It's not changed, it's grown. And I'll explain what I mean now. I had this little feeling in the back of my head when we were playing last time, in just, this doesn't feel how it should. I suppose every year we played a beta, and then immediately afterwards we go, oh, I can't wait for Call of Duty. Oh my God. So can't wait. It's so sick. I do not have that feeling inside me at all this time. And I'm actually, as much as I probably am going to get COD, I've already pre-ordered it, and I'm going to play it, I don't actually have much excitement for it at all. And it's a feeling I'm not used to, because the beta was good. It was fine. Spawns are an issue, as they always are. Everything else worked fine. But it's just stuff we've already seen, guns we've already used, same maps we've played on, and slide cancelling from MW1. And it's just kind of like they've not done anything new for this COD. I don't know why, but it just feels lazy, I suppose. It feels like it was supposed to be a DLC, which, as we've said before, it was. But yeah, I'm just not that keen on it at the minute. I'm not sure if you feel the same, mate.
Yeah, do you know what? I completely echo those thoughts, mate. I'm feeling the same way that you do, that it's just odd. It doesn't really make an awful lot of sense why I'm feeling the way I do, because, like you said, we come out of these betas, and every single time, even if it's just a case that you're playing like, gunfight or something like that, or, some kind of random mode that they've chucked in for the first time ever in a COD, come out of it and think, Jesus Christ, that was so much fun. That was great. Like, I really enjoyed it. It felt really like tactical, or it just felt like the gunplay felt great. And there's something here. There's something amiss. And I've watched a couple of different things, and the community generally seems to be pretty happy with this release. They seem to be really liking the TTK, Time to Kill, for those who don't know, and just really enjoying obviously the maps being back and stuff like that. But I'm coming out of the experience feeling very lukewarm. And it's just weird. It's a strange place to be. And I think for me personally, I don't know if maybe this is what's caused it for you, but we recently got back into Apex Legends, and we've been playing quite a lot, to be fair. over the last like 2 weeks or so, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And going from that to COD, I then wonder why I ever played COD, to be honest, because I'm playing Apex. I'm like, God, this is so deep. There's so much here. There's so much like cool moment to moment things, and maybe that's taking away from the itch that COD normally scratches for me for a shooter. Do you reckon maybe that's it, or do you think it's just that, like you said, that it's just the fact that content just hasn't evolved enough from Modern Warfare 2?
I think it's a culmination of that and just the way we've been playing COD this past year. Because usually it's a situation of Call of Duty comes out, we get the platinum, and then we put it down. And that's it. We don't have an FPS for the rest of the year. This time, because the platinum was exclusively related to the campaign, there was no multiplayer trophies, we just kept playing multiplayer. And we've been playing COD way more than we usually do year on year. This has been the most COD heavy year we've ever had. And then as soon as we abandon it, we're playing a different first person shooter. We don't really need an FPS right now, I feel like. And that is probably the reason why. But it does just feel weird. But that's probably the only explanation I can really give to it.
Yeah, now, Phil, I know that you had one evening with us, and for the majority of that evening, we went into the 3v3 mode, which is new for this Call of Duty, and we dived into that. So it was quite a hard first introduction. But, I mean, with your thoughts playing it for that night, how did you come away from the experience?
Well, you very much dropped me in the deep end because I'm not a COD head, I would say. You know, I played a little bit of Modern Warfare back in the day, but now with the Modern Warfare 3, I've only jumped in just to kind of peek in because your reaction last episode was somewhat middling. You had some concerns, and I thought, well, let's have a look for myself. Let's see what's happening over on Modern Warfare 3's beta. And you're right, we jumped in and we played Cutthroat, so that's the new 3v3 mode. Oh, sorry, 3v3v3 mode. So there's 9 players on the map. And you get to play a state, favela, or Skid Row, I believe. And for those who don't know, it's first team sort of needs to eliminate the other 2 teams, and you can sort of revive your teammates. So it's a lot of sort of teamwork-based kind of action going on. And we did have a lot of fun that night, I know. I was doing okay. You know, I think you were very much carrying the team there, Davey, which I'm very thankful of. But it was fun following you guys round and trying to steal those kills right at the end because, I don't feel like it was the right introduction, really, for my level to be chucked in when you die, you die. Okay, I can get revived, but yeah, it's not quick as the normal sort of multiplayer that I'm used to. But for me, it felt very, very similar to the Modern Warfares that I've been playing recently. I don't really see any big changes outside, I suppose, the setup of this section of the game being Cutthroat. But yeah, it just felt very samey to me, and that's really my own impression. I enjoyed it. It was fun. A lot of it is down to just being with you lads. I don't think it's a game I will be playing solo.
I think that's fair, to be honest. It's a weird one, isn't it? Because, Spence, you've already pre-ordered it, which means that this is your year buying it, so I'll get it for free. As part of our partnership that we do with buying digital content. So I'm going to play the campaign. I'm going to enjoy the campaign. I know I will. I'll play it a couple of days early, just sweat it, really come away from the experience probably quite pumped. And then I'll probably put like a solid couple of weekends, I think, in and see what happens. You know, playing with the Modern Warfare 2 guns, playing with like some of my old kit, and hopefully they bring back the raids. And that could be enough to tide us through. And it could be one of those things that we get our fill, get the platty, put it down, and come back for a raid once every 3 months. And maybe that's enough.
What we need from this Call of Duty, or for me anyway, to actually be really keen and excited again, the zombies needs to be good, which it doesn't look like it's going to be. It does need to adapt a little bit more. And for the love of God, you've only done it once. Bring back Champion Hill. Champion Hill was so sick. It was the best mode you've ever made. Other than zombies, the original zombies. Bring back Champion Hill. It was sick. Why not do it again? It's easy. It was sick. It was probably some of the most fun I've had with Call of Duty, other than like the raids. So if we could get good zombies, raids, Champion Hill, I'm asking for a lot now, but that's what they need to do. Because then the game would be immense. Champion Hill, chuck it in.
Well, what they said, what the rumors are saying at the moment is that next year is going to be the next entry in the Black Ops series. Yeah, so it's being done by the Premier Studio in the Call of Duty family. So it's going to be a big one next year, apparently. That's the rumor. And so that should then revolutionize COD for a little while. And then we got Raven, I think, going after that. And then it's going to be back to Infinity Ward. And then around now to Sledgehammer again. So we probably got a few more years before you got a chance of having Champions Hill. Because I think that was Sledgehammer that introduced that. I think, was that in Cold War or was that in Vanguard?
Vanguard, I can't remember.
Let's give it a quick Google. I don't have a fucking clue. Nothing else to do. So that's all ask Google.
Nice. Okay, so following on from that banger of a little jingle, I have Googled it, and it was first revealed in Call of Duty Vanguard, and we haven't seen it since, which wasn't that long ago. Fair enough. Bring it back.
So it came out as part of Vanguard then, which was done by Sledgehammer. So we got next year, as I said, we got Treyarch apparently. So the Kings of COD coming back. So that should be a great one. Full zombies mode should be included in that. So that should be a really, really good one. And then we've probably got then another couple of years of kind of gash, really, I guess. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. The big thing that's happened with Modern Warfare 2 is that the general community has been pissed off because Infinity Ward have not listened at all. They've not listened once. There's been a UAV glitch, for those who don't know. UAVs is like 4 kills, and you get a UAV, which then scans the map so everyone can see where everyone is on a scan. But the issue is that it's been broken. So if you use a UAV, you've then got permanent full-on radar where you can track the enemy team, and that's been going for 4 months. And they just never fixed it. They just couldn't be asked. So everyone hates Infinity Ward. Everyone thinks they're shit. Sledgehammer listened to the community, so everyone's really hopeful for this one. And everyone loves Treyarch. So next year is going to be the big one for COD. So if we only do dip our toes in a little bit, next year I think they'll grab us by the bollocks. And we're in. Because it's going to have a full zombies mode. So we'll wait and see on that one. So guys, on the last episode we spoke about another game that was coming onto the PlayStation. And it's coming to PS Plus. And that was Farming Simulator 22. We spent an evening being farmers on Spence's farm. You and me, Phil, we dived in and joined as the young farm hands ready to help him with his contracts, his crop clearing, his sowing of the crops, all the jobs that a normal farmer does. And it went pretty disastrously for Spence's bank account, to say the least. Now, Spence, let's bring it over to you. How did you feel your adventure with Farming Simulator went? Did you enjoy it? And how did you feel that me and Phil contributed towards your farm?
You monsters. My wife took the kids because of you boys. I hired you both to come to my farm and help out. What did you do? Did you help? Did you fuck? You immediately thought, how much money has he got? 2 mil. 2 mil for his farm to buy, equipment, vehicles, stuff like that. But did you think, does he need this? Is this what we can use for this job? Oh, there's a more expensive version of that. Oh, that looks nice. Does he need it? No. It's quite nice though. Bought everything they could find. By the end of it, we did one contract, a single contract, which I think gave us £500, and that 2.5 mil or however much I had went down to £4,000. I was skint, bro. There's no investment. I've lost the farm. It's gone. It was a mistake. But did I have a fun time with my friends and my employees? Yes. Yes, I did.
I got to say, to clear those weeds, mate, I did need to buy a full combine harvester, 2 tractors, and of course a pickup truck that I could just whip around the place. It's just part of the job. They said you could do it with like a horse and a little pull-along cart, do it on the cheap. But no, we're revolutionising farming, aren't we, Phil? It's all about speed.
Well, that was the thing, wasn't it? We spent a lovely Thursday night trying to help you out, Spencer, and the word in that sentence you should focus in on is help. We didn't need to be there. We could have been playing other games. We could have been doing other things. But we came to help you on your farm because, of course, we got Farming Simulator 2022 as part of PS Plus for October. We had other games. Yes, Callisto, probably not the game we were going to play since we've all played it. And Weird West, and we couldn't play that one together. So we did dive into Farming Simulator and helped you out on your farm. It was a bit of a slow start because ultimately we didn't know what we were doing right at the start. We were just running around fields. We were running really weirdly because it moves you really fast if you're going by foot. But as soon as we could find out how to start purchasing things, yes, you were right. We saw the dollar signs and we clicked, buy. And I bought the biggest tractor with the biggest set of wheels and the biggest thing that I could stick on the back of it. And I was having a whale of a time for all of 10 minutes as I went up and down that field, but it got pretty boring pretty fast. And it was only enjoyable because we were having a laugh and we were messing up your game. I think it was just a griefing game. I think that was the only fun I got out of it. I quite enjoyed getting my tractor, and as you were coming up, trying to mow it really, or try to sow the seed or whatever we were doing, ploughing, I don't know. As you were trying to do it really neatly, Spence, I would just dive in front of you. And then I would have a little giggle to myself, and then I would set it back to the AI, so it cost you money.
Well, it's uninstalled. That farm's gone. My kids are gone. The wife's gone. Farm's gone. You're both sacked. I hope you had fun. Game's uninstalled.
I gotta agree with Phil here. The game was horrendously boring. And Spence, you were taking it so serious as well. You're like, come on, lads, we've nearly done this field. And me and Phil like, can we just play something else? Can we play Helldivers or something? You're like, come on, mate. We nearly done the contract. We can't let Farmer Joe down. I was like,
You can't let her down. I wasn't even the one who asked to play this game. You boys are just like, you coming on Farming Simulator, Spence? I was like, I guess so. And then I tried to have fun with the game that you boys suggested. I'm sorry.
Took it so serious, didn't he?
Destroyed my farm. I was trying to be immersed, man. I wanted to be a farmer.
The character creation was quite interesting, though, in the game, wasn't it? We all went for quite unique archetypes of farmers, didn't we? I went for a Chinese farmer in his dungarees and his big wellies and his gloves. Davey, who did you go for?
I was a black man in a beekeeper suit. I don't know why he was raising bees. I don't know why he was raising bees, but I thought, we're being a truly, open, diverse workforce.
Diverse,
yeah. But much like you, Phil, any chance I could press circle to get a hired man to drive the car for me, I was just doing it. I literally bought, because I just wanted to waste even more money, I had a tractor with like a ploughing kit on it. Thought, I'll buy a more expensive, small one. And what I didn't realise was it went about 5 miles an hour. So it took me about 20 minutes just to get over to the field that you were in while you saw your bank account drain because I hired the guy to drive me over there. And he took forever. So, yeah.
It did feel that ultimately you just wanted to get the tractor that had the highest top speed. I didn't really get any of the other metrics in the game, right? I'm assuming they could all almost tow everything behind them, right? But it was just you needed to get from A to B really fast because some of the tractors we had were just really, really slow, weren't they? And then we started spending money, and then we almost got like Ferraris of the tractor world, didn't we? And we were putting down half of Spencer's money at a time, and yeah, it quickly went.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. You also got to be fuel efficient with your vehicles, which I don't think any of us were. It was a fun game. To be honest with you, I still don't really know what we were doing. Davey, you're the one who figured everything out. You bought the first thing. You showed us the shop. You're the one who signed the contract. We were just kind of there for the ride. Even if it was my money, my farm, my wife and kids, I didn't even know what was going on.
The beekeeper's mind. It goes many places. And much like the rest of the hive, it knows how to lead. And that's what I thought I'd do. I thought I'd drag you through this honey fruitful experience. And unfortunately, my entire thing was I wanted to create a little zoo. I wanted to create a place where I could have pigs. I could have
yes, what you're on about.
Pigs. And I couldn't get them. I just couldn't figure that out. That was the one thing that was outside of my reach. So if anything, if there was a chance to go back so I can fulfill my fantasy for my farm, I can bring you guys in. We can start pig farming. Maybe we can make it reality. But unfortunately, until then, I have as well uninstalled Farming Simulator. Take that for what you will, audience. Now, finally, guys, there's one other game that I want to bring up here before we move it on to quick news, and that is, of course, Resident Evil 4 Separate Ways. Now, we'd spoken about this a number of weeks ago on the podcast. I think when yourself and me, Phil, we were playing it through. I've since beaten it. I believe both of you now at this point have beaten it. Now, I've put a full review out on YouTube, which went out about 3 weeks ago now at this point. Where I went on for about 25 minutes or so talking about the game and how much I enjoyed it. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts after finally finishing it. Phil, let's come across to you first. You're the one, you and me were speaking quite highly on the game when we were about 2/3 of the way through the experience. Now you've gotten to the end of it. Has it heightened your appreciation for Resident Evil 4 Remake that little bit more?
It hasn't heightened my appreciation for Resident Evil 4, but it has heightened my appreciation of Resident Evil 4, the DLC, because I think it is just a lot better. I think one of my main points that I was making on the last podcast when we spoke about it was the sense that actually there's dread in this, there's actually fear in this, there's build up and the amount of ammo that you have. And I think that was my main criticism for the original, because I felt like I was just overpowered all the time at the medium level that I was playing this game. The medium level of Separate Ways is just paced perfectly and it doesn't drop off. You don't get to a point, or I never felt like I got to a point in that game where I was too much for the enemies that I was fighting. It was just perfectly balanced. And having said that, I'm going to stick with what I was going to say, that this is a 9 out of 10 experience. I think this is a very, very strong DLC, and it is a must play for any Resident Evil fans out there. Even if you have played the original, this is a big step up, in my opinion, over the original and the original game and the remake of the game. This is the best version of Resident Evil 4 for me.
Wow, very high praise. Spence, what about yourself? Now, you haven't spoken about this before, so the floor is yours. Talk about Separate Ways, and we could always ask you questions and bounce things off. Let me have it.
Sure, mate. So for me, yeah, I hadn't touched it when you guys talked about it last time, but I have since beat it. I played it on hardcore, same as I played the full game. And I thought it was quite a controversial take, but I'm actually agreeing with Phil. I think this is better than the main game. I think this is actually like way better than the main game. And the main game's great compared to the original. I've not played the original Separate Ways, but the remake of RE4 is fantastic, and this DLC is just a step above. It is phenomenal. I enjoyed every second. The pacing and the ammo, like you said, Phil. I think you mentioned it last time, Davey, as well. The one boss fight, I killed it with my last bullet. And then after that, I was like, oh, fuck. And it took me, I had to restart that fight like 4 times, because I kept missing that last shot, or missing a shot during the fight. And then it was an unbeatable boss. And I had to try and figure it out. And I got there in the end. And there was a lot of that, especially during like the start of Separate Ways. But the more I played it, obviously the more comfortable you get, the better you get at conserving your ammo, all that nonsense. But it was fantastic DLC. Very, very fun. And I didn't use the submachine gun at all throughout RE4. But that shit goated for this. It was great in Ada Wong's hands. She is a killer. And I loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
How did you feel about the difference from playing Leon to playing Ada? Because there is some subtle differences, and there are some not so subtle differences for playing each of the different characters. Who did you prefer to play? I know normally you would go for the female character, but this DLC is far superior, so I'm assuming you're going to say Ada, right?
Yeah, I think I would prefer to play as Leon, actually, too. But the grapple hook just puts her a step above. That grappling hook is sick, and she got them legs, you know what I'm saying? But I would usually, I think, prefer to play as Leon. But Ada's not bad to look at. She's horrible to hear, but fantastic to look at. So yes, I think I would prefer Leon, but, you know, either way, it's fine.
All 3 of us on the podcast share the same opinion that voice acting is still absolutely atrocious then.
Yeah, it honestly sounds like they just didn't edit her audio. It sounds like she worked from home when she recorded her audio. It just sounds like on a different quality than everyone else. It's not even the voice acting's bad, because it is bad, but the audio quality itself just feels different to the rest of the audio in the game. I don't know what the issue is, but it's bad. It's bad.
Maybe she didn't have a setup like we've got, lads. So if there are any aspiring voice actors out there, of course this setup is available to rent. So please drop into our DMs and we'll work out a price. You can use our microphones, you can use our computers to do a bit of voice acting. If you want to come around and voice the next Ada Wong, get around here. This is going to be much better for you.
Fucking hell, if you look like Ada Wong, get around here.
Let's move it on to quick news. Quick news.
Quickety quick news. Well done, listeners and viewers. You have made it to Quick News, and this is the section of the show where we cherry pick the latest and greatest of the PlayStation news just for you. But to spice things up, we like to challenge each other to impressions before we introduce you to said news article. This week, we're going for sounds that you would find on holiday. Now, Spencer, I normally start with yourself, and this week's episode is no different. Spencer, give me your impression of a sound that you might find on holiday, and we're going to jump in at any point, and we're just going to guess, okay?
Okay.
The plane.
Vibrator?
Ooh, Davey.
The plane.
What'd you say?
The plane.
Yeah, on the plane on the way back. That's mad. Can't believe you got that. It was a horrible impression. That's immense. Quick news. I didn't know what to do, boys.
Congratulations. A plane. Okay. Jesus. You can do a Ferrari noise 1-to-1, but a plane.
I thought it's the sound when you're like sitting on the plane.
Yes,
You can
in the
hear it
plane, yeah. It's not the sound
like
of the plane. It's the ambience when you're in the plane.
Planes go
Yeah,
Oh,
That's how a
plane's
plane goes,
flying,
right?
bro.
Jet, mate. Concorde all the way.
Jeez. This plane's doing flips. All right, quick news. So, as much as this was introduced as a PlayStation news section, this one actually relates to Phil Spencer. Well, look at that little nod. We should be an Xbox show, but we definitely will never be. So Phil Spencer himself reiterates 100% parity for Call of Duty, meaning no exclusive skins or betas. Now, the thing is, right, there's been a lot of kerfuffle with Call of Duty, a lot of kerfuffle. And first they promised it's not going away, and then it was on a deadline, and then there was a whole lawsuit, and now he's saying this. When Sony have been very much like, no, we're getting everything all this time. Lads, come on. Davey, especially you. I already see you doing this thing. And when you do this, it means you want to speak. So, do you think he's chatting out his arse?
Yeah, of course he's fucking chatting out of his arse. That's such a bullshit thing. Phil Spencer always does this bullshit where he says like, no, we're not taking games away from people. No. When we buy this studio, it's going to be for everyone, for more players than ever before. Except for you, PlayStation. You can't have it. It's not for you. There's no way. There's no fucking way. Sony have had a marketing push on this now for a number of years. 2 contracts worth ever since PS4. They got it. Ever since they wrangled it out from Microsoft's hands from the end of the 360 generation. It's been with us on PlayStation. And from that, we get bonuses in terms of we get extra class setups. We get double XP or 1.5 times the XP in some games for playing as a party. And you get betas earlier than everyone else. You get an exclusive opening weekend, and then you normally get another weekend when everyone else it goes on to their pre-order weekend. So you get extra betas and stuff. There is no fucking way that Microsoft won't follow suit on that. There is no chance in hell. I cannot see a reason why you wouldn't. It would make no sense. Why would you put all this cash down and then not at least have a beta open early for PC and Xbox Game Pass users? It just makes no logical sense. I get where he says like 100% parity. Okay, I get that. That makes sense in terms of you've got all the same map rotations, same weapons, there's no exclusive modes. Get all that. That makes perfect sense. Betas, though, is where I'm getting hung up, and I do not believe a fucking word of that. It just does not make any logical sense.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It is the most bullshit I have ever read in my life. It's, even if, actually, to be fair, if it's not bullshit, then he's just an idiot. And that's fine too. But I'm hoping for his sake, it is bullshit. Phil, the first name of Phil Spencer, my man, what do you think of our guy here? Do you think he's chatting out his arse as well?
It's an absolute madness, isn't it? It's a strange standpoint for him to be taking. And I've read through the article that we've got in the doc, which details what he's said. And I've picked out one one sentence in particular which just boggles my mind. And it says, "We have no goal of trying to use Call of Duty to try and get you to buy an Xbox console." That just confuses me. It just wrinkles up my forehead. That sentence just does not make... Why else would they buy Call of Duty? Why else would they want the rights? Of course it's for that reason, to encourage people to come over to the Xbox side, to play it on Xbox, because it should be a better place to play it. And this was kind of our concerns when we heard about the acquisition, that, you know, they were going to be getting X, Y, and Z better than PlayStation. But he's saying, no, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's a strange stand, but it really is. I think there's more to meets the eye with this one, to quote another Transformers reference there. And I think we'll probably end up doing a little bit more digging and revisiting this one at a later date, because I think this is going to come back and slap him in the ass.
Mate, I honestly couldn't agree more. You bang on. It's so stupid. So stupid. The whole thing of... You had an interview a while ago saying, it's kind of what you said is in line with it, where he said, making new great games won't win us the console war. And every single person in the world just went, huh? Why do you think you're losing? PlayStation got exclusive after exclusive after exclusive. They're all bangers. Of course he wants to keep this to himself and keep it on their systems. I don't think it would even bring people to Xbox at this point, because they're so friendly with PC. And it's just better on PC anyway. So it's a mess. But yeah, hopefully more will come to light about this. There's been a lot of Phil Spencer stuff coming to light recently. Lots of hidden documents and emails and all the sorts. So we'll probably find out something else really soon, and we'll probably cover it a bit more in depth when that time comes. But moving swiftly on, Spider-Man over there, coming round to you. Let's hear your best impression of something on holiday.
This might be a bit of a deep cut. I'll try my best with this, okay?
You skiing? No.
Done. It's going to be a tough one. I could do a physical thing alongside this if it makes it a bit easier.
I think you might have to.
Yeah.
Okay. If it's not skiing.
It's not skiing. Okay.
Digging? Building a sandcastle?
Building a sandcastle. Yeah. You're digging it out. You're digging out the sand so you can start building your sandcastle. Got to build your moat first. For anyone that's not been on holiday and not built a proper sandcastle, always start with a moat. Build that first. Get the water running alongside it. Then you get your mound, which is what you dig out to build your castle on top of. Got to create that 16th century thing. Quick news. Now, I got a bit of a juicer here for you guys, and this is an email I had come through. Now, if you remember, if you got a great little memory, me and Spence were originally trying to get a hold of a review copy of Firewall Ultra so that we could share it with you guys on the podcast, and we would have told you before we actually ended up buying it not to buy this piece of shit. Well, it turns out that they didn't add me on to the review list, but what they did do is put me on to the marketing side. So I now get every single update, every single thing that's a press release. I get the press release direct from the source. Now, this is not a shout against David Jagano, who is the PR guy over at for Firewall, but I got his email and I got a major fucking problem with it. So I want to read out this email for you guys and just get your kind of take. Now, let's just before I go into this, I'll just give a bit of background for those who haven't been keeping up with this. Firewall, when it first came out, me and Spence played it on launch day, and it was absolutely fucked. It just would not work. You couldn't find a game. We were sat in a lobby for forever. The aiming didn't work properly. The eye tracking worked sometimes, didn't work others. It was just a buggy, fucked up mess. And they decided to launch a game like that. That's the background, okay? So we're now a few months from that. So here we go. First Contact Entertainment. Now that Firewall Ultra has been out for nearly 2 months and has received a total of 7 large and game-altering patches, we want to reach back out to let you know about the game's progress. The team at FCE is working hard each and every day on making Firewall Ultra as great as it can be. Thanks to our dedicated and passionate community, we've been able to make huge strides with the game in a short amount of time. The latest patch, patch 1.10, included many impactful changes, and the responses from the community across socials, in-game and in our Discord have been very positive. Since launch, we've tackled many key issues and areas of the game that players had issues with out of the gate, such as progression, matchmaking, network stability, aiming accuracy, and much more. And are continuing to focus on high-impact changes that have meaningful and tangible improvements. We're committed to continuing to work on the game and would welcome a renewed look at Firewall Ultra if you'd be interested in checking the game out again, and or letting your viewers or readers know about some of the changes from your own perspective. If you like, we have plenty of people on the development team who would love to hop in for some games for you to chat as well. Right. I got a fucking issue with this. A major fucking issue, and I want to pass it over to you guys in a second, but I just want to have a little bit of a ramble on this. The fucking cheek, the absolute fucking cheek on this email to literally hide anyone from reviewing the game, literally anybody. Nobody had access. It wasn't just us, it was literally nobody had access to it pre-release. And to then put out all these gameplay trailers where it looked like it was hot shit, and then it actually turns out to be shit, a steaming pile of shit. And then to be like, oh, please, do you mind check out the game again that you've bought? Do you mind just having a look another couple of months later now that we've actually fixed it? Fuck off. You got one chance to come out with a game and it work and it'd be great. And unless you're something really special, like No Man's Sky or Cyberpunk or something like that, which has legs, then okay, I get it, right? But this is a fucking multiplayer game, and to not have the network sorted, let alone the fucking aiming on a first-person shooter game, is beyond. It's absolutely beyond. I think it's just ridiculous that they had the fucking cheek to email out and say, please, can you go in and check it out, and now we're quite willing to work with you, now the game works. Fuck off. Like, honestly, it really pissed me off. And I thought, do you know what? I haven't thought about this game since we bought it, Spence. And we even dove back in, didn't we? And gave it another shot a few weeks back. And it was okay. It was all right. But this email just made me really fucking sour on it. Because even though it's like, you can think, oh, it's quite nice and heartwarming. They want us to reconnect and to rejig the game up. You fucked up, man. Like, your time's come and gone. This game is a fucking pile of shit. And I'm fucking pissed off that I wasted 40 quid on it. And it really has pissed me off. I mean, am I out of line here? Because I really feel like this has just really done my head in.
Very funny, mate. I think the email is mega cheeky. I think the email is grim. I don't think they should have sent that out. But as you did say, we did try the game out again a little while ago, and I thought it was actually quite good. I mean, the aim was still a little off, and well, that's about it, really. We found a game really quick. We found people that wanted to hang out with us. They were kind of long-time players with Firewall as well. And they kind of shown us the ropes. It was a nice community that we found. Well, 2 people, but they were lovely. The email's bad. The email's bad, but I don't think an email should influence your opinion of a game, if you know what I mean.
I get what you're saying, and you're right. The community was lovely. They were really nice. They really helped us out, really got us like under the door for it. But the fact is, and I think what pisses me off is just where it says like we've made several changes, including, and it lists everything that a game should fucking do from the rip, including networking, including aiming, including reloading. We fixed everything that made this game the game. It's like, just fucking delay the game. Why didn't you just fucking delay the game and launch it later? It's wild to me. Like, I wouldn't put out a game and then be like, oh, now, by the way, it's like if they put out Spidey 2, and they said, oh, now you can swing. Swinging works now. It's like, what the fuck? It's just wild. It's a first-person shooter where you can't fucking aim. What the fuck, man? Just, oh. Phil, how are you feeling about this?
Give that marketing department a raise, mate. Jesus, they're doing everything and anything to save this dead horse. It's cheeky, but what else are they going to do? You can't blame them. Don't hate the game, mate. Or don't hate the player. You got to hate the game, right? This is a ridiculous situation where they've come to you, begging you to use your community now to encourage people to put more eyes on this. It's just mad. But I don't know why you would do this. I don't know why you would encourage anyone. You obviously haven't by your recent rant, but they had to try. They had to reach out to you. They had to try and put you in this position. They had to encourage you to come back because they have been putting in some extra work to the game. And ultimately, this is what you wanted, right? You wanted them to improve all these things that you had flaws with the game.
It is. But then when someone says to you, like, when you're like emailing back and forth and you're like, yeah, do you know what? I'd really like to get one of you on. I'd really like to like work with you guys and see what it is. And like, the game's shaping up great. Yeah, it's fantastic. You're going to have a great time with it. Looking forward to seeing you on launch day. La, 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 la. Fucking can't see anyone on launch day. Can't see a single soul. I don't know, man. Like, this game, the more distance I've had from it, and even though we had a semi-decent experience, Spence, we both said after we came off it, I'd rather just play golf. I'd rather do literally anything else. Like, literally anything else. I'd rather play After the Fall. It's all right. It works. But it's not exactly great. And it's certainly not going to get anywhere near, like, a top 10 VR list for this year for me. Or anything like that. I don't think it will even chart. And I don't know, man. It just fucking rubbed me up the wrong way. And yeah, maybe it's nice they reached out, but you can do it better than that. Much better.
Mate, what I reckon you should do is take them up on their offer and play a game with a dev. And as soon as he comes in, he'll be like, oh yeah, we worked really hard. We've actually just improved the aiming. And then you could be like, well, why wasn't the aiming good at launch, mate? And then you could just kind of interview him then and there.
Live review.
Be like, so what was wrong with it at launch? He'd be like, all this. You'd be like, well, why'd you release it then? And then you could just kind of be like, you fucking idiot. And just rinse him then and there in-game and then shoot him in the head as well. You could be like, get out my lobby.
Shoot myself. Uninstall the game. Try and get my money back. Yeah, I would miss, yeah.
You'd miss.
Yeah, sorry guys, I'm kind of just using this as a template to have a little bit of a rant, but yeah, it really did rub me up the wrong way. Speaking of rubbing up the wrong way, we can have a wanking impression on this one, Phil. Let's give you something you do on holiday. Volleyball?
Correct. Where is it?
On the beach.
On the beach.
Beach volleyball.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, it's beach volleyball, so... Who got that right? Are we going with Spencer because you got the full thing?
It's the only time you play on holiday, and it's on the beach and
okay,
volleyball.
Davey got it. Davey got...
Shake my head.
I'll give Davey the point. It was beach volleyball.
That was just the badminton impression.
It was the badminton.
Well, it was a little bit more involved than the badminton one. It was a little bit of a heavier. And I was going to do a physical one if you guys weren't going to get it. But
it looked the same.
Beach volleyball's that, isn't it? Anyway, quick news. So, the PS1 masterpiece, Metal Gear Solid, will be playable on modern PlayStation hardware once more with the release of next week's Master Collection. And this means that the classic is getting its first ever trophy list. 2 and 3 have had trophies in the past, I believe, but this is the first time ever that we're going to get the original, the OG Metal Gear Solid having a trophy list. Now, I know, Davey, you are a Metal Gear Solid fanboy, the same as myself. I think you've even ordered this or pre-ordered this. I think it's on the way to you. Now, I'm going to ask you, are you going to be going for the platinum on these games?
Yes, mate. I am going to be absolutely smoking it. I cannot wait. This is the game that I thought to myself, my 100th platinum was going to be MGS1 if it ever released. And it got robbed from me. It got robbed. So now I'm at the point where I'm going to say to myself, I'm going to do everything on this game, get to the final fight on my big boss run, save, and it will be my 150th platinum. So I'm going to do everything so I can just then click the button and get the platy, but I have to get to a milestone. I may not be able to wait to 150, so it might be like 125 or something. But we'll see. But the plan is going all the way with it, mate. Going all the way.
Now, moving over to Spence, you know what I'm going to say? You know what I'm going to bring up? You're not a Metal Gear Solid fan, are you?
Not particularly, mate, no.
Now, do you think you may give it another crack now with it coming out on PS5?
I've already planned ahead. I'm 100% going to be giving it another crack because my experience with it last time was on an emulator, which had a pariah of problems, especially the Psycho Mantis fight. So I'm curious to see how it works now and if this new version of the game can change my opinion. I'm definitely going to be giving it that little chance to do so.
I was going to say, now, Phil, obviously you're a massive MGS fan, same as myself. Are you starting the trilogy off with Metal Gear Solid, or are you going to go even further back and go to like the original Metal Gear games that are included here, that were on like the NES and stuff like that we haven't played, or I haven't played anyway?
Correct there, Davey. Well, I haven't played the originals. I've only played from 1 up. So this is a great opportunity to go back and delve into some of those classics. But I haven't actually ordered this game just yet. Now my birthday's coming up. Christmas is coming up. Just throwing that out, boys. Little hints here and there. Just sowing the seed like I'm in Farming Simulator 2022. Just putting them out there. Might water it a little bit later and re-mention that I haven't ordered this game just yet because I'm playing a game that we're going to talk about in the topic and I've got no other time to play anything else. But as soon as that's finished, I am definitely going to be diving in. And I think this is the time now where I might get in to doing some platinums and go through this because I want to get Metal Gear Solid Platinum. I think that would be brilliant to add to my lovely collection of 13 or 14 platinums. This could be number 15 for me. Whoa, big numbers.
That's class. My only question, Davey, you have already pre-ordered this game. Physical or digital?
I went physical, my friend.
Fuck!
Yeah, I went physical. I wanted it on the shelf. And I wanted the day one little sticker on it and everything. So yeah, day one for me, mate. Straight up.
Fair enough. Well, I'll definitely be getting the game. I might not be a day one for me. It depends. When's it out? Next week?
Yeah, in a couple of days.
A couple of days? Shit. It might be a day one then. I have so much to play. But I'm not actively playing. Well, game we'll talk about later. But I'll be done with that before this game comes out probably. So maybe it might be a day one for me, but undecided. But I'm definitely keen to give it a go.
Right, let's move this on from the loving, which is Metal Gear Solid. Now, coming back round to you, Spence, for the impression of something that you hear on holiday.
Fishing. Oh, reading a book. Flicking through a magazine. At the pool.
I'll tell you what, I'll give it because it was reading a book. You know, like how you go on holiday when you're a kid and your mum will be lying down, getting a tan, reading a crime, mystery or romance book or something.
Yeah, an erotic thriller.
Yes, an erotic thriller. Every single one, yeah. Exactly.
That's what you
right.
think Spencer's mum's doing on holiday.
That is bang on what she's doing on holiday.
She's reading the podcast fan fiction. That's what I reckon.
Oh.
All the stories of the late night that me and Phil go out drinking and one drink turns to too many and next thing you know it becomes erotic.
If you would like to read those erotic novels, please subscribe to our Patreon. Only the top tier get access to those novels, which Spencer's mum is. She's a top tier subscriber, isn't she, Spence?
Mate, she's a co-writer at the moment. She's helping us out. She's the one writing the novel. Alright, well, that mess. She's working with Lurian. They're working as a team. Alright, quick news. Moving on swiftly from that. Let's talk about my mother, the better. So, last episode, we had a brief discussion, well, actually quite an in-depth discussion about Hideki Kamiya and about him retiring and what he's going to be doing in the future. And it turns out, it's come out that Hideki is starting a YouTube channel post-Platinum Games, and he's not retiring. But just taking this kind of time to just start a YouTube channel, talk about what he wants to talk about, play what he wants to play, stuff like that. So that's quite nice. We now have a bit more information because last time when we spoke about this, we were just chatting out our arse. It was a rumor and it was confirmed, but we were just making shit up. We were like, they're going to team up. They're going to go back to Capcom. They're going to do everything. But none of that was true. That was rumors that we created. And this is the truth. YouTube channel. Lovely. Boys, what kind of content are you expecting to see from this lovely little YouTube channel? We'll keep this one quite brief, I think. But what are you looking for?
What I'm hoping for is that he'd do breakdown on some of the games that came out from Platinum or under his stewardship in terms of how they made it. Kind of like director's commentaries, you know, where you can just be like, oh, this is the decision. Oh, we did this because we tried this and it just didn't really work. You know, this system, we tried to implement a first-person view here and we just couldn't get it right. So because of that, we then switched over to this and we did this kind of thing. That would be really interesting for me, from somebody on the outside who has no knowledge really of like video game development, that you could take a lot from that. Think, God damn, this is really, really nice. Now I don't know how much at liberty he'd be able to say, but certainly going back to like his older projects, like especially if we went back to the game that Carmen mentioned too, or any of those that he worked on, you know, to be able to talk about the design process for some of those and what he did, that would be sick. Like, that would be so interesting. I'd lap that content up. That would get an easy subscribe from me.
Nice. To be honest, kind of the same kind of content I'd be looking for this. Phil, are you along the same lines?
Hot wings, I reckon. He's going to do a channel about hot wings. He's going to go on there. He's going to have people on, and he's going to eat really spicy hot chicken wings, because that's really popular on YouTube at the moment, and that's the only way to make money. It's not making a PlayStation podcast, you know, with our 194, I think we are now, subscribers. We are on the road to 200, and we really want to get that by the end of the year. So if you've got this far within the podcast and you haven't subscribed, please do that if you are enjoying it. And leave us a comment. Leave us something nice about one of the hosts, of course. Maybe not the content, more about maybe just me. Just something nice about me. I'd love to see that, please. But yeah, that's what I reckon he's going to be doing. He's going to be doing a Hot Wings channel, and he's going to get, you know, guest people from across the internet. He's going to get someone from MPS We Trust to go on there and eat some hot wings. Spence, I know you've been training with your buddies on the hot wings. You'd probably be the one that we'd send, because I don't think Davey's a spicy guy, and I think I'm about middling. I think I'm probably a little bit better than Davey, but I think you're our king. If he comes ringing, we're sending you for the hot wings, okay?
Completely fine. I'm not the most informed on this show. I usually just go straight off the dome, but I can handle some hot wings. I can tank those bad boys. I'd love it as well, actually. It'd be great. But yeah, my pleasure. It'd be my pleasure. But for me, I'd like to see, much along the lines of Davey, breakdowns of old video games whilst eating some hot wings. Bam, what a twist. Oh,
Jesus
a culmination. Christ. A culmination. It's informal and fun. Entertainment at its best. Much like Blue's Clues or Dora the Explorer, but a bit better. You know, entertaining and informal.
I can see a spin-off.
You know what I'm saying? Ooh. But yeah, all I can say, good luck in the future. Good luck with your YouTube channel. You'll probably be a bit more successful than us. But we're coming for that ass.
We're coming for it. We're coming for it.
Coming for it.
All right. Moving swiftly on. Davey, round to yourself. Give us another impression of something you might hear whilst away on holiday.
Okay.
Flying a kite. Blowing up a inflatable.
That was a good guess.
No. Really good guess though. But no. And nowhere near what it actually is. Think about the scene that I'm setting. I'm setting a scene here without giving too much away, right? So close your eyes and just imagine.
This means nothing to me. You got any physicals you could do? Anything else you could do?
Okay. I'll set the scene even more, right? So this is what
paragliding.
This is what I'd be doing at the time.
Sleeping?
You getting a nosh?
No. Do you know what? I'll put you guys out of the misery. No points for you boys on this one. It is, you're just lying on the beach. And you're hearing the sound of the wind and the sea crashing against the shore. The surf.
You're not hearing all the kids screaming?
No, this is a quiet beach, mate. There's no one else there, just you. Just you. And you're lying there on the sand, relaxing, just hearing that lovely sea breeze drift by. Quick news. Now, there was an article going up from gamesindustry.biz, and if you've never checked out gamesindustry.biz, I would highly recommend going on there. There's some really, really well-written articles. Now, this article is massive, and I'm not going to go into the entire thing, but there will be a link to it in the doc, and I would really, really recommend you to go check it out. Now, the crux of the article is all about what happens now that Activision Blizzard is being owned by Xbox, what that means for the industry in general. Now, they go through all different kind of big industry analysts who break down their takes on what this means and what this means for the future of cloud and everything else. It's a huge, huge article, pages and pages long. But the main takeaway from me is that one of the analysts is stating in there that PlayStation will be under more pressure to make major acquisitions now. They believe that they want to stay active in procuring more studios. They anticipate further investments, including a large acquisition, and they expect Sony to leverage film and TV, music and games to bolster cross-entertainment mediums. Now, guys, what are your thoughts on this? We've kind of touched on this in different topics over the many months that this deal has been going through. Do you really want PlayStation to fire back with something now? And if so, what would you ideally want them to do? Spence, I'll come across to you first.
I don't really want them to fire back, but if they were going to, I don't know. Probably just a big old acquisition, either Arrowhead or Capcom, but it's not something I actually want. I think Sony's best move is to just be like, yeah, and what? Leave it. You've got such big studios behind them already. They're not struggling. They're demolishing the competition. They're fine. This analyst is just like, nah, they're Xbox gaining. No, I think it's fine. I don't really think they should do anything. And if this whole cross-entertainment thing they're trying to do, which is kind of like this Sony Pictures Core thing that they've just brought out, I checked out Sony Pictures Core. It's shit. It is not a reason to get PlayStation Premium. And unless they improve it, it's not even something you should install. I don't think Sony should do anything. They're fine the way they are. If they are going to acquire someone, Arrowhead. Don't go for anything massive. Go for someone you can trust. And just give us Helldivers free. And that's it. That's all I want.
Very interesting. What about yourself, Mr. Hoy? How did you come down on this one?
I get bored of this topic every time it comes up. It's just every other week, isn't it? Oh, what are we going to do about the acquisition? I don't think they really need to do anything. And we've spoke about this many, many times on the podcast. I don't think they need to go out and, put their balls on the table and be like, yo, we're going to acquire X, we're going to acquire this, we're going to do B, we're going to do Z. It doesn't matter anymore, right? They've got Activision Blizzard. Let them have it and let's see what they do with it. Yes, I think the article is correct that, Sony is moving forward and sort of leaning into film and TV. We've recently seen that with the addition to the premium level of PS Plus. But I think, as I previously stated when we talked about this a little bit as well, that they probably need to just continue leaning into VR, cloud, and live service games now that they've acquired Bungie. They made their big acquisition, and I think we need to lean into that and make the most out of that. Okay, Bungie aren't on the same level as Activision Blizzard, but they are a big swinging dick, and we need to use them for the live service stuff that we got coming up. Why not? Let's invest in that. Let's invest in what we've got rather than go out hunting for that unicorn that's out there. They just want a big thing to talk about and to write about on gamesindustry.biz. That's what they really want out of this. But I think Sony's got it. They've got a loaded chamber at the moment, and they just need to fire.
Both in agreement then, in terms of Sony doing absolutely nothing. And I've got to say, I'm going to follow up with you guys. I totally agree with you both. I really do. I don't think this is the time to do a major acquisition. I've stated many a time on this podcast that I'm totally against major acquisitions. I don't want us buying Square. I don't want us buying Capcom. Why? When we can just work with them to produce great games. I mean, look at what's happened the last few years. We've had Final Fantasy VII Remake, which came out from an exclusive partnership. We've had Final Fantasy 16, which is probably my game of the year. And we got Final Fantasy VII Part 2 coming out. We got some incredible games from this whole partnership. So I'm not really too sure what more you want them to do. I agree with Spence. I think if you're going to be good looking at acquisitions, you want to get smaller studios, which aren't going to make a huge drop in the ocean. They're not going to make a huge load of buzz. But for me, as somebody who's hardcore on PlayStation, it would mean a lot. And that would be Arrowhead. That's definitely the studio acquisition you should go for next. 100%. Get them under the family, give them extra funding, level them up a lot, and you could see what they've done with the likes of Housemarque. You know, they had that extra investment, they came under the family, and you get Returnal. Like one of the best games this entire generation. I'm sure that Arrowhead are going to deliver, right? They don't miss so far. But how much better could it be if they were part of the family? Who knows, right? That's way more interesting to me. Now, when they talk about this leveraging film, TV, music, and games to bolster cross-entertainment, this is something I never really think of when I think of Sony. I never really think about their music business. They got a huge, huge label. Loads of major artists on it. The only other thing they could potentially look to do, and this would be following along the same lines as what's happened to Netflix over the last few years, is that Netflix, as anyone knows, started off, it was the king of streaming. Everyone pretty much just put this stuff onto Netflix. And then as time's gone on, they thought, hold on a second, we've got enough content here, we could just launch our own services. Now, music at the moment is primarily run by like Apple Music and Spotify. Those are the two kind of competing services. If Sony just said, hold on a fucking minute, let's pull our music off Spotify and let's just launch our own one, they could then incorporate that alongside the likes of their movie and TV and entertainment businesses to have its own service. And that makes sense to me. And I think that if someone like Sony did try to do that, Warner Bros. Would follow suit. Everyone else who's got a major label, you know, I think Warner Bros. Are the ones that own like Roadrunner and kind of all the record labels that I know of. But I think they all come under WB, I think. But they could all start following the same route in the music industry as they went down on the TV and movies industry when it comes to streaming. I suppose that's the only thing that potentially could shake this up and could show some interest. But I don't know if music's there so much. But then again, I never would have thought, 10 years ago, looking back, that Netflix would become the shell that it is now compared to what it was back in its heyday. So these things can move quite quickly. But little thought experiment for the future, I suppose. We'll have to wait and see where we go. And so with that, Phil, let's pass it over to you to end quick news. Opening the beer. Using the microwave.
Vending machine?
Might be a visual one. Here we go. On holiday. A microwave on holiday. Where are you going, Spence? You go out for food.
I said vending machine. Davey said, come on.
Right. Here's the visual.
Are you eating nuts? You eating nuts on a plane? Nuts. Oh, we're taking the camera.
Taking
Wind up
pictures.
camera.
Oh, that was a dead heat. That was both at the same time. So I did the sound, and I did the visual for you guys, and you both said it at exactly the same time with this. The last bit, I was loading film into a camera. If you didn't know. But on this one, seeing as it doesn't really matter who gets the points on this one, Davey, you've already won. You've got 3. So I think I'll just call it yours on this one.
Whoa, hang on. Phil, how many of you had right?
Only one.
Only one? There we are.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
surely not. That's a point each for me and Davey, surely.
Definitely Davey got that one, I think. He just got there in at the end, I think. Anyway, quick news. Don't let the high caliber of games releasing now fool you. There are some bad games out there, and they're releasing across the industry every single day. Now, there's one particular game which has caught our interest, and it's called Skull Island: Rise of Kongs. And this is potentially the worst game of 2023. Now, I hadn't heard of this game, and this is why I'm introducing it. Now, this game is potentially the worst game of 2023. Now, I didn't know a lot about this game. It had gone under the radar for me because I was playing Spiderman. But I know you guys, you have seen a trailer for this, which you showed me early, which looked absolutely ridiculous with some raptor and Kong fighting and there was some JPEG flicking up. Now, this doesn't fill me with hope for this one, and I know the likes of IGN have absolutely trashed this game. Now, guys, what do you feel about it? Let's have the real review now. We know sometimes IGN can go off and get things wrong. How do you feel? Let's go grassroots. Let's go to Davey first. What are you saying about Skull Island, Rise of Kong?
I'm going to do my impression of Potato Chief, fan of the show and our personal friend. And he runs the Xbox side. He does that well. But he's got a personal hatred for IGN. So I'm going to do my little impression of him. Kong Skull Island's the best game ever made. It's so good. You guys just don't understand it. Goddamn IGN. But no, really, realistically, taking it back to reality. Sorry, Potato Chief, just couldn't take the couldn't walk past that one of a little quick dunk. In love, of course. This game looks like absolute buttered shit. It looks absolutely abhorrent, and to think that this kind of trash could be released for £32 if you were to buy it is just outrageous. The only thing I can think of, fair play to the developers, right? Fair play for even putting out a trailer for this. Because if it was me, I would have buried this. I would have had nothing. I would have just had the box art, which I would have put all the marketing budget into, and then just hope for the best. And hope to God that nobody streams it. I would have had a thing, right, on the TNCs. You know when you click and you say you sign it all, that nobody can ever share an image or video from this game, so that you could then sue them, because that would be the only way to recoup your development costs for this kind of thing getting out there. But yeah, this game looks absolutely ridiculously bad.
Or you could release the game, then get all the bad feedback, then do a bunch of improvements and send like a sarky, cheeky email to all the content creators to try and hopefully get them to mention it on their podcasts and YouTube channels.
Yeah. It's a winning formula at this point. It's a winning formula. But yeah, certainly one to avoid, I think, listeners. Spence, what do you think about this? Did the JPEG work for you?
Mate, the JPEG. All I know about this game, right? I've seen one cutscene in which it's abysmally bad, and they didn't even bother to animate the dinosaur. They just pop a JPEG and a little noise over it. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. And if the entire game was kind of tongue-in-cheek and just like that, I think it'd be fun. It'd be funny. But unfortunately, apparently it's not. It's just a pain in the ass, horrible platformer. I've looked up how long it is to beat. And you can beat this game in 5.5 hours. Apparently only 3 people have submitted their times. But the one person that's left notes said it took them 5.5 hours, played on PC, and they got lost 95% of the time. So really, you could probably beat this game in about half hour, 20 minutes. But the game's just so bad and unintuitive. You don't know where you're going and you hope for the best. And it's just, this game looks bad. I think they should do what you've said, Davey, and kind of like they did with Persona 5, where for the first year of Persona 5's release, you weren't allowed to stream it or release gameplay because of spoilers. You weren't allowed to do it. And they should do something like this. They should say it's spoilers. Oh, we don't want to spoil the game for anyone. This is quite a nice immersive experience. But really, come on. That's what they should have done, instead of letting everyone shit on this excuse of a game. I'm not going to play it. I'll tell you what. I'll end it there. I'm not going to play this game.
Guys, before you all poo-poo it, what's the platinum like?
What are the odds it doesn't have one? Oh, it does have one.
Okay, so that's a point to it.
Okay, so... Oh, no one's filled it in yet. It's got a 2.5% platinum rate.
Oh, wow.
And no one has filled it in. And you can see the trophies. All the trophies appear to be story trophies. And as they go, they're just gradually less percent, where people have just stopped playing the game. And it's just, I think it's probably quite an easy platinum, but there's no actual guide or anything because no one's bothered to do it. But it's there.
Brilliant. Well, when this goes on the store for like £2.50, you know, for the price that I paid for this a genie in my Szechuan sauce, I might pick this up because I think this game's going to be way worse than Genium or Szechuan Sauce. But getting that platinum, baby, it was another platinum. It's getting towards the MGS thing where I can trigger it, you know? It's one more platinum.
Well, on that somber note, depressing, disgusting. I feel dirty now you've said that. Let's move things on and let's end quick news. So I'm going to give you a bit of a roundup. I've given you the beach volleyball impression as well as a photography, loading film into a film camera while on holiday. Yes, I do that. Spencer gave us a plane, and then he was reading a dirty book on the beach. Davey, he was building sandcastles. That still cracks me up. And he was lying on the beach. Davey, you got 4 of them right. There was one that neither of us got, and then I just got the single one. So Spencer, you get a shot in the dock. You are lagging behind for episode 70 at the moment. Davey, you've got 6 shots. I've got 6 shots. Spencer, you had 3. Now you've got 4, but you've got 5 to hand out. And for those who don't know, we have a big blowout every 10 episodes. Episode 70 is coming up soon, and we're going to get mashed up. So make sure you tune into that. Now let's move things on to the topic of the show.
Stop! Topic time!
Ladies and gentlemen, lads and listeners, we have made it to the first topic out of 2 this evening. So as always, I'm the fella. Sometimes I present the topics, but I always present to you guys what's new with PlayStation in regards to hardware and software. So it comes to no surprise that I'm presenting a topic today about the new PlayStation 5 Slim and PlayStation 5 Digital Slim. Well, let's just preface this by saying someone predicted this one. Ooh. That's the noise of Phil's kettle. But
Well, it's that after about 10 minutes, mate.
After 20 minutes, yeah. Someone's prefaced this one, I believe, on episode 66, if I'm correct, lads. Is that ringing any bells?
It does ring a bell. And for all the times that we've made bets on this podcast, we never used to write down when it was, what the bet was, anything like that. And so we'd always be up to kind of debate as to what was actually said, which episode was it on, blah, 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 blah. So we learned from that, and we've since kept a shots and bets doc that anytime someone makes an outrageous claim, we can then put it in there and we can put the number of shots associated. Now, this was made on episode 66. Your bet at the time, and I've got it written here, is Slim is digital only with optional disc drive out this year. 2 shots on the line. So if you got it right, me and Phil would have 2 shots each added to our total. That was what we bet, as far as I'm aware. Now, I don't know if you want to go through the specifics of what it actually is before we uncover if you were bang on or not, because I found exactly where we spoke about it in episode 66. That I can play for the audience, even going back. And we can then decide whether or not we agree with your bet. Because I'll be totally honest with you, Spence, looking at that and how that's written, and that could just be how I've written it at the time, it's not digital only. So you're fucked, because there's a physical option as well. So you're right on most of it, but it's an incorrect bet as far as I'm concerned. Because yes, there's an optional disc drive. Yes, it's out this year. Not digital only. In which case, shit the bed, mate. That's how I'm coming down on this. Phil, I don't know if you're coming at this from a different tact or not.
Well, the thing about it is, Spencer's tucked himself up, hasn't he? He's tried to be too specific. He's tried to give us 3 separate bets in one there and only bet us 2 shots. He said, Slim is digital only, optical disc drive, and out this year. That's 3 different bets there, but he's only bet us 2. So you've tucked yourself up, Spence. And you already know how this is going to fall based on Davey's little introduction there. So I'm just going to let it play out. Maybe I'll sit on the fence for a little bit, but you're definitely getting some shots in the dock on this one.
What I'll say, before we play the clip, I will say, there are 2 versions of the Slim. One's a physical, one's digital that can be turned physical should you want to do so. Other than that, we'll just go through the systems first and then we'll discuss the bet. So the systems are actually technically more expensive than the normal one, and they are supposedly due to release on November 10th in the US and then come worldwide in the following months. That's more or less all we know. The specs between this and the base PS5 is literally identical. It's just a smaller form factor, and the disc drive can be attached to the digital version. And if you want to stand it vertically, you have to buy a £25 stand. Wow. Outrageous. But this does beg the question, did my bet come to fruition? And with that being said, Davey, mate, go on. Play the clip.
So this is very Inception here, where we're playing a podcast within a podcast.
Tell you what, lads, disagree.
Oh,
Disagree. I figured that out this year.
this year.
Yeah. Late this year.
Do you want to put a shot on it?
So
Out for
sure.
Christmas time. And I'll put a shot on it. And digital only.
Oh my gosh.
You've already got the shot on for digital only.
So
Double it.
he's doubling it up. He's doubling it
So
up.
I'm just
only
saying
is it
out
digital
this
only.
year.
Out this year.
Spence is
2
going to be
shots on
drunk
it.
on episode 70.
Yeah. Damn straight. Hell yeah.
Well, you got until the end of the year for this to come in.
Innit?
So
I got practice.
you got time.
Yeah.
You got time to bank this one in. But we'll see. We'll see how you end up with that.
What if I'm right?
It'd be wild.
Will you both do 2 shots if I'm right?
Yeah.
Yeah, calm. What, do you agree to that, Phil?
Yeah, hell. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I feel strong about that as well.
Okay.
That's fine. Right,
It's
hell,
got to be
hell's
both.
alright, right?
It's got to be. Yeah, hell's fine. It's got to be both things, mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm right.
I'm totally taking
Well.
it. Deal.
All right,
Well.
on to the next topic, boys. Let's talk some Spider-Man.
Oh, mate. It's so grim. It's so grim for you, bro. You were so fucking close. Like, listening back to that topic, to that quick news section we did on episode 66, me and Phil are just like, there is no way it's out this year. There is no way. We were categorically like, no chance. This is bullshit. If you just said that it's out this year, we would have been done here. But you had to tip the scales that little bit more. You had to just reach that little bit further. Like Phil was saying before, Icarus, mate, you flew too close to that sun and your wings melted off and you plummeted back to the sad reality of that we never get a prediction right on this show.
Right. So, are you boys in agreement? I don't get the bet.
What? That you don't get it right, you mean?
Yeah, and I've lost the bet.
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah. It was 2 things you said in there. Clear as day, mate.
Word for word, you got it wrong. You
3
predicted
things.
some things, but
Mm.
there was some errors there as well. So overall, it's wrong.
Hold it!
There was 3 things I put up there, which is this year, digital, and there will be an optional disk drive you could attach to it. 2 of those are correct. There is a physical version, but what I said technically wasn't wrong. So I offer a compromise. And your boy's decision for me to be wrong is overruled, if as you will.
Objection! Oh my god, and he's giving himself
That's
another
a shot anyway.
He's giving himself another shot.
It's
He's used the
overruled.
crown after the first 3 episodes. Add it to the
overruled.
list.
It's
Hold it!
overruled. What the compromise I propose, because I don't want to give myself the bet, because you are right, I did get the one thing wrong. I think instead of me having 2 shots, because I got 2 right and 1 wrong, I think everyone, all 3 of us, get 1 shot. You guys get 1 each for my 2 that I got right, and I get a shot for my 1 that I got wrong. And as the king, I believe that sounds fair.
Take that!
Spence, I'm already filling out the doc, mate. You got that wrong. The bet was wrong, so that's 2 shots, and you've wore the crown outside the first 3 episodes. These are our rules. We didn't make them up. These are the rules. These are the global rules.
We didn't make them up.
We're not making them up as we go along.
We are.
Now, you've ended up
We
with
literally
4
are.
shots from this episode. You've got 3 from this section of the show, and you lost quick news as well. Terrible performance today. So yeah, you're creeping up. You're a shot ahead of us now for episode 70.
The whole overruling thing has backfired immensely because I've showed you a lot more respect than I normally would do as our big quiz champion. But normally, as you know, after 3 episodes, we don't want to hear any mention of King. We don't want to hear anything like that because it is punishable by a shot. And you've tried to overrule a losing bet, which should be a shot, and taking it a step further and put a crown on your head as well, which is just insulting.
Objection!
You will recall in episode 7123, I didn't actually wear the crown or abuse it. I wore it for episode 71 and then not after.
Take that!
That, my friend, is a missed
Your
opportunity.
loss.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your loss. You should have imposed yourself in those 3 episodes, as I did when I was the king, when this first sort of came in. You should have put that out there, wore that every episode, wore that every chance you could take. Of course, it looks beautiful on you, Spence. Why wouldn't you do that? But anyway, you've lost these bets. I've already added them to the doc. I cannot erase them. It's a Word document online, and that's impossible. I've written it with permanent ink.
Bad for the screen, surely. That was awful.
But moving away from Spencer's snafus there and his failed bets, guys, with these PlayStation revisions here, the form factor's changed. Obviously, as we said, it's got smaller. The price has stayed kind of static, or in some cases gone up. What do you think about it now? It's so much smaller. Phil, you've always been a hater of the PS5 design. You've always thought it was a gargantuan beast. Does now it being a little smaller handheld package, does that appeal to you a little bit more than it did before?
Well, Davey, I did post about this when the news broke, and I'm going to read this verbatim because I find this an absolute madness that the PlayStation 5, it's been redesigned, but they didn't take into consideration that it didn't used to work horizontally, as I've got it at the moment. That little shit bit of plastic that we've got, it doesn't hold it up effectively. It is rubbish. Vertically, it works fine. You could stand it on its edge. It works great. But now they've revised the design. They've taken it back to the drawing board. And Sony, they are the kings of design. Product design, they do awesome stuff, right? There's 1,000,001 products that I could reference right now where you go, wow, yes, Sony have made something that looks beautiful. But on this one, they've just created even more problems because it doesn't even stand up vertically on its own. And they try and sell you a stand. I find this absolutely ridiculous. And if you want to put it horizontally, it's got a little pop-out stand. So why? It just boggles my mind that the design department didn't go, do you know what we should do? We should make something that stands vertically and horizontally without any help. But no, they've given us another disabled console.
I got to be in agreement with you on this. I think this is such a missed opportunity. I really do. And the thing, taking the stand issue out of it, which in itself is a bit strange, the thing that I don't get with this, right, is that we've always said the digital console looks way better than the physical. And I think that's true on both versions now, on the Slim and the regular. But the regular now on this looks way worse than the old one in my eyes. It looks like it's got a fucking tumor growing out the side of it. Like it's got some cancerous growth in that disk drive. It's so far out, it's like it's had a BBL, mate. It's nuts. It's like it's had a Brazilian butt lift. It's like this huge, massive concave coming out the side of it. Where the Slim one actually looks pretty good, I think. And even for a 25 quid stand, I mean, it's not that outrageous. There would be some third-party alternatives out there in no time at all, right? That you could strap on that will have extra fans or places to store your games, or, you know, you've seen all those things 1,000,001 times online. So there's other options you could go for. The Slim digital, I think, looks really nice. I really like it. The physical looks so much worse than the OG fat physical, in my eyes.
Tell you what, I agree with you in regards to the fat physical and the slim physical. However, I have noticed one little change they've made, which I do appreciate. The eject button appears to actually be on the little disk drive part itself now, rather than above the power button, which I always get those two buttons confused. Even still today, I'm getting them confused. I generally know the top one is eject, but sometimes you still just forget and you accidentally turn off your PS5 or you accidentally eject your disc when you're trying to turn off your PS5. And that's a nice little change, but the way this looks isn't good. I think both versions look worse than the original versions. And they've also said that as soon as the PS5, the base PS5, the ones we all own, sell out, they're not going to manufacture more. This is going to be the only version of the PS5, at least until like a PS5 Pro. This is the one they're going to be manufacturing, selling. What happens to the swappable plates? Do they fit on these? Are they going to do new ones? Or is that just something people aren't going to be able to use anymore if they're not manufacturing the base PS5? It's weird. It's a really weird choice. I just don't think it's very smart. I think they could have done a lot more with the design for this, and I think they've kind of fucked it, really.
Yeah, you think about what happened with like the PS3. Take the PS3, for example, because it was the one that had the biggest revisions. you look at the base, like George Foreman version, and then the first version of the Slim, which I own, and they're night and day different. They look totally different things. And it's quite cool to be able to see the kind of progression. And obviously they ended up moving to, a slidey top, which I don't think anybody really enjoyed. But the thing is that there was proper progression as you move through the generation with the different types of Slim that they offered. I don't think this was too much of a smart play, to be honest, it being designed this way. Because I don't know why, like you said about the plates, why have that slit in the middle? Why? Why bother doing that? I honestly, I don't get it. I really do not understand that whatsoever. I really don't. It just doesn't make any goddamn sense to me whatsoever. They could have, as you said, Phil, and what you've come on to, Spence, as well with the plates, is they could have designed a solution here that just made it look completely different. People might have thought, oh, wow, that looks striking, or, oh, that looks a little bit more conservative. I wouldn't mind having that, underneath my TV, as opposed to this Art Deco piece that I've got right now that I really enjoy, but I feel like I'm in the minority enjoying the OG PS5 design. I think they've kind of just shit the bed with this, and I do like the size of it, and the size does look cool and looks dinky. For a weird one for me, I think if I was buying one, I'd go for the digital only and buy the optional disc drive, and then put that on when I wanted to play something physical, which granted would probably be the majority of the time, but at least if I was then having people over, I can hide the disc drive and it looks all right, rather than it looking, as I said, like it's had a BBL.
As crazy as that sounds, I think I would do exactly the same, because why limit yourself? It's always good to have options. And you are right. If there was the choice between the two and I had to have one, I would definitely go for the digital one. Same as you, and I'd have the removable disc drive. Swap it out when needs be. But it's quite cool that they have reduced the size, I think around 30%. So it is a lot smaller than the monolith that we have underneath our TVs currently. And that thing is an absolute beast. I'm trying to downsize and trying to get more space around the house. So having something like that is slightly appealing. But at the moment, I just don't see enough push for me personally as a PS5 OG owner to upgrade or side grade to this one just for the side difference. I know there's a few other minor tweaks to it. For me personally, this is a non-starter.
Can I just say, I've been looking into this whilst we've been discussing this. The physical version of this Slim, all it is the digital that comes with the removable disc drive attached. You can take it off. It just comes with the detachable disc drive.
Yeah, but then how do you get the digital plate to go back on there?
It comes with it. You just take it off.
Do you get every plate, do you?
It seems like it, yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I've looked it up, and the physical one is just a digital one with the disc drive.
Are you sure that it would have... If it does have two plates with it, then I'm happy to recount what I was saying in terms of my stand back for your bet. But I'd be very surprised if Sony chucked in that. I'll be amazed if Sony chucked in that. Because why would you need to, right? Like, me and Phil are acting like total weirdos in buying an optional disc drive that we'd have all the time and just take on and off when we need to, because we can't stand the sight of it. But if you're buying a physical option, I can't imagine they'd give you the digital only side. It doesn't make any sense at all.
It seems like it, because what this article is saying is you could have two PS5s in the house, one digital, one physical, and if you want to play a physical game on the other one, you could just remove the disc drive and put it on the digital one.
Now, I'm not sure about this one, because everything I'm reading, there seems to be two separate listings here. So you have the PS5 Slim digital edition, and then you have the physical edition as well.
Yeah, but the physical...
There's two different editions here, Spence.
It's just coming with the disc drive.
Consoles selling it. So
that's like a listing coming with FIFA.
If you're trying to say that both consoles can be both physical and digital, so what's the point in having two different boxes to sell them?
Because one comes with the physical. One comes with the detachable disc drive.
Yeah, but we're now in semantics here.
We are, but it is just... If you remove that disc drive, what is it? It's the detachable disc drive.
But then you wouldn't have the plate for the digital.
Well, I can't confirm if it comes with it or not. But at the moment, at the moment, I think the bet's just off until we find out.
Oh, don't know. No. I think you fucked up, mate. And I think if you were bringing this to a court of law at the moment, you're not swaying me as the jury.
Yeah, but then what happens when it gets revealed?
Audience, we're going to put it up to you. And this is the last chance for Spence. And the thing this is going to go, if you agree that Spence should not have a shot, then vote. If that vote wins, those shots will be removed and they will go over to myself and Phil. However, if after hearing this very paper-thin, crazy reach that he's going for here now, saying that if you vote on the side of righteousness with myself and Phil, and Spencer gets it wrong, that is now another 2 shots that get added on top. So he will roll that dice, and you could either accept the judgment, Spence, or you can take another 2 on top.
Right, well, who has the final say? Surely it's me.
The audience. The audience will vote, and that shall decide it. Phil, you all right going alongside with that?
100% back.
Right, well, that one's overruled. That one has to be. This is just my bet originally extended. We don't know.
Can't overrule,
Spence,
mate.
I don't know how good this is for the listeners to hear. Maybe we could take this offline if you want to log a complaint. You can send it over to my email, philhoy@idon'tgiveafuck.com, because you're getting those shots either way. But we can either put it out to our Twitter viewers and they'll agree with us, or you can take them like a man.
I've seen you drink. Take them like a man. This bet is just extended. We need to find out, surely.
Audience, is up to you. Settle this once and for all. We'll find out on episode 79 whether or not you have decided to spare or to punish Spencer. The choice is yours. Now let's move on to our final topic, and the big one for today, Spider-Man 2 talk. And here we are, the final topic of tonight and the big one. Spider-Man 2 is out, boys, and we've all had it a day earlier than general release, which, as we all had our collector's editions. Now, if you are a Spotify and Apple podcast listener, and you want to see us unboxing, showing off our initial thoughts of what came with the collector's edition, go on over to our YouTube channel where we did an unboxing and review discussion. Phil's idea to do it, and I was not looking forward to doing it, and it turned out it was really fun. I really enjoyed it, so hats off to Phil, great content idea, and it was a fun old time, so go on over there and give it a check out if you haven't seen it already. Now, we will not be discussing that this episode, we are going to be discussing the actual game. Now, we are all at various parts throughout this, so I think what we should do first is give our spoiler-free thoughts on the game. Before then, we can then dive it into spoiler territory. And for those that haven't played the game, or aren't too far into it, you might at that point want to just skip ahead and that'll be the end of the episode for you. But for those that are happy, they're going along for it, they've made progress, we will start that part off by explaining how far we are into it. So at least then you can judge, and whoever's the furthest behind will keep it all to that level for spoilers, so that you'll know whether or not you're okay to keep listening. But before we get to that, let's get our top level thoughts out of the way. Let's kind of go into it spoiler free for the moment. Spencer, start off with yourself. Spider-Man 2, how are you finding it so far? Give me your thoughts.
Sure. So Spider-Man 2, man, what a game. It was my most anticipated game, I think, after Street Fighter 6's release. And this has kind of been every single day. At some point throughout the day, I'm going, oh, Spider-Man 2. Oh, Spider-Man 2. And then when we got it, I have not been able to put the game down. It is phenomenal. It's an improvement on the original in every single way. There's not a single aspect, I think, that is worse than the original or Miles Morales. And I am just in love with this game. Absolutely adore it. And just keen to get back to it. I mean, I think it's a near perfect game so far, other than some bugs. But we'll get to that in a bit.
Wow. I suppose for the audience, how many hours in to the experience are you so far?
All right, okay. So, I am 27 hours into the game. And I've actually finished it and platinumed it.
Oh, fantastic. Well done. Ooh, that's a platinum. Absolutely incredible result, mate. 27 hours in, you earned yourself a platinum already. Jesus Christ. Oh my God, I cannot wait until we can pack it into the spoilers, and obviously I have to tone it down for me because I'm way further behind than you. But, oh my God. So after finishing the game then, how are you going to rate it? What are you coming down on?
Ooh, I've had a lot of bugs in my playthrough, like loads, a stupid amount of bugs. But that's just me. I'm the bug hunter. That's the way it goes. Bugs aside, I would honestly, yeah, I would. I'd give this game a 10 out of 10. Genuinely a 10 out of 10. This game is phenomenal. It's a game you need to play. It's so good. And I've beaten the game, I've platinumed it, and I'm not uninstalling it. I want to go back and play it again. It is phenomenal.
Wowee. Oh my God. Huge praise. Coming in with a 10 out of 10. Very rare on this show that we give 10 out of 10s out. My God. Mr. Hoy, give me your thoughts and also inform us how far you are through the experience as well.
Wow, wee wow. I was not expecting Spencer to come through like that. You have been very silent in our chats, and very silent for a good reason, because you've been putting in the work, my friend, and I'll tip my hat to you. Congratulations for getting the platinum on that one. Big achievement. And I think I'll probably be doing the same thing, but let me just give you a little bit of a rundown where I am with the game and how I've been playing it. I've been playing it on fidelity mode. I've been playing at the 40 frames per second with the VRR, and that was enabled to further increase that frame rate because I had enabled the 120 hertz output. Because, guys, I bought a new TV specially to play this game. I bought an LG OLED Evo C3, and that's a bit of a flex because I haven't bought a TV in a while, and I wanted to go for something that was hand-picked, perfectly tuned for playing PS5, and it's the 120 hertz HDR10 4K version of the LG TV, and I am happy as Larry with it at the moment because that game sings. Now, we did do the collector's edition, as Davey said, and I encourage you guys to go back and watch us unbox Venom, Miles, and Spidey. It was a good time had by all. Now, the game. Where do I start? Having played the first two Spider-Man games on PS4 and PS5, this is a step up in absolutely every area. This game is incredible. I've got to echo everything Spencer has said so far. This is this is a perfect game, and I've only roughly played around 8 hours of the game, so I believe I'm slightly ahead of you, Dave, because you had a very busy time, and generally you would rush through games the same as Spencer. I like to take my time, look around, and I don't have the same sort of time to sort of dedicate to games as you, but every hour that I've had free, I've been putting into Spider-Man. I'm on amazing at the moment, so that's the difficulty that I've been playing. I'm level 18 and I've been doing all the side quests and all the collections. Now, I've done a bit of reading, and it approximately takes about 24 hours to get the 100%. So 27 hours, that's about right if you're doing a bit of sightseeing as well. IGN gave it an 8 out of 10. Metacritic gave it a 91 out of 100. And so far, for my sort of 8 hours in the game, I'm going to stick with Spence. It's a 10 out of 10. I'm absolutely loving this game.
Wow, my God. 2 10 out of 10s on the show. Guys, I'm coming in with a straight out 10 out of 10 as well. I think this is a perfect sequel. This is exactly what the jump was between God of War and God of War Ragnarok, in terms of it just improved on every single thing and just tied it all together. Now, I am the furthest behind out of all three of us, which is odd, I know, crazy, right? Normally this would be it. But it just turns out I've just been busy this weekend. It's like the worst weekend it could have launched on for me, because it's the weekend I had loads of plans. So I haven't had as much time as I wanted to. However, it's going to be done this week. 100%. I'll be able to say on the next episode whether or not I still feel it's got that 10 out of 10 big dick energy, because right now it does. Everything's improved. The combat, the movement, literally every single finite detail of this game has just been overclocked to reach its true potential. I don't think it does anything to revolutionize from the first game. I don't think it does anything too crazy over and above, but it doesn't need to. In the same way that Ragnarok didn't need to. It had a great base, and all it had to do was just layer it with better combat, with better things to do. This game has just done that. And it turns out it's just a fucking winning formula. It really is. There's something about it that I booted it up for about half hour earlier on before we started to record the show, and just started swinging, and I just couldn't stop smiling. And I was like, oh my God, everything here, when you start moving in and start using all your additional powers to be able to create that movement, and that's the first thing that I've chosen to level is that movement, and just be able to go so fast and so effortlessly, and to have this gorgeous ray traced graphics across every single surface to really just blow your mind. Absolutely incredible. Now, I do think there's a couple of areas that it does let me down on. I think especially coming from the likes of, say, God of War and from Horizon especially, that the voice acting and stuff, the voice acting is great and the performances are fantastic. But in terms of cutscenes and stuff, it's not on the same level as like Horizon or anything like that. Like nowhere near, especially when you're chatting to other characters. There's the odd times where the mouthing's all synced up, especially with like a little sub-character, and I really noticed that and think, wow, they've done a great job there. But 9 times out of 10, it's not. And I do think, okay, well, it is what it is. And I think there's certain scenes and things that I've seen so far up to this point where characters' faces just don't look like as if they got as much detail on as I would probably like. But then again, it's the art style that they've gone for on this, so I can kind of give it a free pass. And when the game looks as absolutely stunning as it does and loads like it does, I mean, the fast travel system in this game, absolutely fucking insane. I know loads of people have been hyping it up, but to be able to click on anywhere and it just goes in and has this awesome animation to kind of kick it all in, you're flying, so slick and so well done that it just blows my mind. And I think for if these two guys haven't already sold you on it, it's easily one of the best games on PS5. Personally, I don't think it's the best. I think God of War Ragnarok tips it for me, but I'm too early to see where this story goes yet. So I don't know how it where it builds to, and if it can possibly reach the hype levels I had with Ragnarok or not, I don't know. But right now, at the moment, I'd probably put it in as my maybe number 2 game on PS5 behind Ragnarok. I think it would quite happily slip in there. And easily, even though I said it earlier, I didn't really want to give up the ghost, easily my game of the year so far, even for this many hours in. But wow. Crazy praise from all three of us. 10 out of 10s out the gate on this. Now, before we move into spoiler territory, Spence, you mentioned about some bugs that you had. Now, it's been a long time since we've done this, so let's hit the jingle. When walls are spinning all around you, you can't properly aim your gun. You find you're falling through the world. I'll hunt you down 'cause you're a bug. I find the bugs, the big bad bugs. The Bug Hunter.
Such a sick jingle. That was class. Yeah, I've had many a bug during my playthrough. I mean, obviously, I've played 20 more hours than you boys. And I played this day one. So you expect some bugs day one. The first bug I had, I'm not going to go too in depth, no spoilers, nothing like that. First bug I had, you're on a wall as one of the Spidermen, not in costume at any point. That happens all the time in Spider-Man. But his shirt was just clipped into the wall. He was on the ceiling and it was clipped into the ceiling. And it was just the cutscene that played. He's still on the ceiling. And when it's looking at him, he's just like this. Just, you can't see him. It's just a t-shirt there. And then it popped back out when I've jumped off the wall and it was really weird. But that was just a little texture bug. That's fine. That's fine. Oh, that's not that bad. I can live with that. Crashes, soft locks, bloody texture bugs where I'm flying about as a little white cube. I've had it all. So there's specific soft locks I've had. One where there's a collectible that you need to break when you get it. And it just didn't let me. The camera just zoomed out. So I was in third person, which you're not supposed to be. And nothing worked. Couldn't move. Couldn't press any buttons. Couldn't even pause. I had to close the game and reopen the game. And then do the encounter again. I've had lots of crashes where it just randomly shuts down. One point I was just swinging, crashed. One point I was in a fight, crashed. During a cutscene, crashed. I've had about 6 crashes throughout the game. At one point, my suits stopped loading. So if I swapped suit, it wouldn't show me the suit. It was just a little white cube. And then if I jumped into the actual game, it was just a white cube swinging about the city. No character there, little white box. And that was a bad one. But nothing... Well, the crashes and soft locks hindered your experience, sure. But for the most part, it's restart, load checkpoint. Good to go. Only really you actually have to close the game. But still, even with these experiences, still a phenomenal game.
It's wild that you've had that many. Granted, I'm only 7 hours in. I've not had anything. Literally nothing on my playthrough. I don't know about yourself, Phil.
Zero bugs, no issues at all from my sort of 8 hours in the game. But yeah, we've played a lot less than you, Spencer, but for whatever reason, and this is why you've got the title The Bug Hunter, these things happen to you more than anyone else that I've ever met or ever spoke to. So something's going wrong there.
Yeah, I think Davey said it to me earlier. I think I need a new PS5, and that's all it's going to be. But who knows? Who knows what the reason is, but I am the bug hunter, and it's just my role in life. So whichever dev company decides to snatch me up as a QA tester, they'll be lucky. Trust me, they'll have no bugs when they release that game, because I'll report everything. And maybe then I could have a bug-free experience on the game's release, and that'd be lovely. That's all we can hope for.
What would happen, though, is that because your PS5's dodgy, obviously, I think that's the only logical step here. It's the only thing that's different in our experience. We've all gone digital because it's part of the collector's edition. So there's nothing really that should be too different other than the fact that we've got different PS5s, right? I think the issue would be if you did get a job in a QA and you fixed all your issues, you'd probably cause them for 99% of the rest of the PlayStation population, because fixing yours would fuck ours. So I think, if anything, mate, you're like a messiah. You're taking all these bugs so the rest of the population doesn't have to experience them. So thank you for your service, mate.
It's a hard life, but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to give.
It's that equilibrium of life. Something bad happens to you, something good happens to us. And at the moment, no bugs for us. So hopefully you keep getting bugs, because I'm bug free.
I'll try my best to serve, mate. I'll keep getting them. I'll do it for you boys. But yeah, that is probably the extent of my bugs. There wasn't really anything else severe. I've not had any NPCs act weird or anything that really is hindering my experience other than the crashes. But other than that, yeah, this bugs are bugs. I've learned to live with it. I'm sure for most it would be like, oh, another crash. I've learned to live with it, man.
It's a tough old life, but at least you didn't have any like save issues, because they're always the worst bugs. You know, when you get like a corrupt save file or something, and then maybe it hasn't synced to the cloud yet. Like, that's catastrophic. So thank God you haven't encountered any of those so far on this podcast run, and hopefully I haven't willed that into existence, because I do not want that for anybody. But before we move into spoilers, I do want to know, guys, and I wouldn't say this is a spoiler, right? Because these suits are everywhere. So I think we are okay to talk about this in terms of which suit are you using at the moment for your Spider-Man? Spence, as somebody who's platinumed the game, I don't mind you telling us about future suits that come out. They're just suits. They're not major things for the gameplay. So lay it on us. What suits are you enjoying at the moment?
Sure. So there's two suits that I used to play through the entire game. And then there's some suits for fun, which I use for side quests. I never used a different suit for any main game stuff, because after my experience with Miles, at the end of Miles Morales, if you wear his default suit, after the final scene, it's all battered and torn. But if you wear any other suit, that doesn't happen. So I'm kind of trying to use the normal suits just so I can get that experience. Except I don't like Peter's new suit. So I've played the entire game with the advanced suit from Spider-Man Remastered or Spider-Man 1. Because it's just such a better suit. Way better. But for Miles, I've used Miles' new suit for the entire playthrough. Except he has my favorite suit in the entire game, which is the City Sounds suit, which you get from a side quest, and it's just the sickest suit I've ever seen. I don't know if you boys want to pull it up and have a look, or if you want to leave it to mystery, or we'll put a picture on the screen. I don't know what we're going to do, but look it up. The City Sounds suit for Miles is so sick. is my favorite suit by far. But then also the Last Hunt suit for Peter is also my favorite suit for Peter. But I haven't used them really because I've tried to stay authentic to the characters. But those are my suits of choice.
I just looked it up and it's a pretty cool suit. It's a pretty cool suit. But for me, I don't think it's going to change away from my picks here. So I've always been a stan for Ben Reilly. The 90s run for the Clone Wars, everyone hates it. The clone arc of Spider-Man. I grew up in that era, right? I love that run, even though it was, by all intents and purposes, horrendous as a comic book run. But we got my boy, Ben Reilly. And he's nice as fuck. He's got the web cartridges around the wrists. He's wearing like a ripped up hoodie that's over the top. Sick costume. It's what I played Spider-Man 1 with. And I thought, oh, as soon as I unlock that suit, game on. That's me for the rest of the game. No matter whatever suit comes up, nothing will ever beat this. And then Superior Spider-Man suit came up, didn't it? Holy fuck. Superior Spider-Man is like my favorite Spider-Man run. And to have that suit come up, I literally popped off. I just went, whoa! As soon as I saw it, immediately bought it, and that is me done. I do not need another suit. That is my Peter Parker suit done. And for Miles, it was the same suit that came up in Miles Morales when that game launched. And that is the Miles Morales 2099 suit. I fucking love that suit. With the glowy eyes, the hoodie up. So sick. I hate 2099 Peter. I hate it so much. I fucking hate that suit. But Miles' one bangs. It absolutely slaps. So to see that come back up, are so happy. So I got those two done. And I don't think I'm going to do it. I don't think I'm going to change again. Unless they get the Ben Reilly Spider-Man suit that he wore after the suit that I've been talking about earlier. He gets this awesome suit where it's like a big spider that goes across everywhere, and it's blue, and it's lush. And if they bring that suit in here, if that suit's unlockable, I'm in a horrendous choice. I'm in a Sophie's choice there at that point, because how do I get rid of Superior Spider-Man for that beautiful suit? But that is something I will cross that bridge when I get there. Mr. Hoy, what about yourself? What suits did you fall in love with?
Well, Davey, I'm very similar to Spence in the sense that I've kept everything default, generally, okay? But normally when I've got a new suit to try out, I will try it out, and I generally do 1 or 2 missions in it and then change back to the original. But the ones that have stuck out to me, and you've preferenced it already, is the Spider-Man 99 black suit. I absolutely love that suit, so I'm, on the other side. We're like chalk and cheese in our love and hate for the Spider-Man 99 suit, but I like that one, Peter, and that one's my sort of go-to. Although, I'm going to bring this back round and put a smile on that face because the Superior suit bangs. I really, really enjoy the Superior suit. I love the way that it's actually got the built-in bit in the back for its kind of claws to come out. No spoilers, of course. But that suit looks really, really cool when you're swinging around Manhattan as Peter. On the Miles side, I'm just keeping it basic. I like the sportswear suit. I really like him in the hoodie and the trainers and the shorts. I really like him sort of low level, just not techie at all, just a kid going round as Spider-Man, solving crimes. It's brilliant. Those are the 2 or sort of 3-ish suits that I tend to rotate outside the basic ones that you get.
Great choices all round, guys. And I've got to say, I think they've really gone above and beyond with these suits this game. The suit selection in the first one and in Miles Morales was excellent as well. But I really feel like now being able to go in and unlock suits and then be able to get like variants of those suits within that suit pattern is such a nice touch. That you might think, oh, do you know what, I really like this one. And now, can I get it in green and yellow? Yeah, sure. Of course you can. Such a nice little touch just to give the players just that little bit more. That they might think, I really love this design, but I don't like this colour set. And if anything, it's just put me into this really hard choice a lot of the time between, which colour set do I like? Do I like this one? It's got a bit of green on, a bit of purple. Do I like my Spider-Man being that jazzy? It's like raising those questions that I didn't think I had before. And I do appreciate the love that Insomniac have shown on this. Okay, so the guys are giving me the nod. We are moving it into spoiler territory. Remember, we will be basing this, or I goddamn hope they're going to be basing this off my playtime, which is the lowest, so about 7 hours in. So for those that want to know where that is in the game, there's no spoilers. Really, it's a I'm sure it's going to have major story consequences, but from where I am, it's just something that's happened, is that Peter has gone with Harry to work. I'm going to leave it at that. So if you're not sure what I'm talking about, switch off, maybe just skip the episode and come back to this after you've got to my part. For those that have got to this part and further, you're totally safe. Or I goddamn hope we're safe anyway. So guys, spoilers. First thing, what a fucking opening against Sandman, eh?
Mate, yeah, awesome. And also, just the way they did it, where Peter is the teacher and Miles is there and he's like, come on, we gotta go. I thought it was awesome, just the way they did it. Proper real life kind of situation that was really neat, and just a shame for Peter. But then, like you said, works out in the end. I thought it was really cool. The fight is awesome. Loved it, mate. Loved the way it all tied together.
It was a really epic way to start the game, wasn't it? Really epic, because it's a big creature attacking Manhattan. They had to leave the jobs, which unfortunately Peter gets let go from his teacher job, and they go to tackle Sandman, and he's destroying, he's wrecking buildings, and you're wondering what the hell's going on, and you're going in, you haven't upgraded anything because this is the start of the game, and you're coming up against Sandman, and he's as tall as some of these skyscrapers, and you're swinging around, and the game is almost in tutorial mode at that stage, teaching you how to dodge, how to swing, how to duck, how to dive, and then introduces some of the powers where you can, shoot webs and things like that, which is pretty obvious that was coming, but it teaches you how to do those things within the game in quite an intense situation. It's kind of like an end game boss, but you're at the start of the game. So it's very imposing, but it's very nice to see this sort of scale erupt in front of you. And it's very much a wow moment. And it was very cool how they foreshadowed something very important that happened in that fight that I think obviously has later consequences, but it adds some mystery to the story right at the start. You're like, what is that? What is this new power that Miles has got? Interesting, wasn't it, how they defeated him?
It really was. And I think what you're saying with scale is something that Insomniac haven't really played with for a long time. I think the last time they really played with it was back in the Resistance trilogy. And I always think about, there's a fight in Resistance 2 where you're fighting against this massive monster on like skyscrapers, and he's like walking towards skyscrapers, and you're like having to fly around him in helicopters and all this stuff, and that's very early in that game. It really like sets the tone for it, and it reminded me a lot of that. And I thought, wow. The thing for me about it that I just found absolutely overwhelming was where there's a couple of moments where Sandman will like smack Miles, and he'll fly like 15 blocks. And it's just like all the camera doesn't just like cut to where he's going to end up. It follows him across the entire city as he gets blasted through buildings. And I thought, fuck me, what a flex that is on the PlayStation's power here, on how they've done this. To be able to show this scale of the city and everything all running fine, and him just like crash out, and he's like, oh, time to get back into it. Slingshot his way back over, and you think, fuck me. Like, that's such a flex. That's such a developer flex to be like, here we go. This is how well we've optimized our game. It's wild. And it's just blows you away. It's one of those things you think, fuck, I just don't see this. Like, you might see somebody getting blasted. Like, you think when Kratos is battling Thor and he's getting absolutely blasted across, but it's in cutscene generally, or it's like kind of a tracking camera with nothing really in the environment. Whereas this is the whole city of New York, and you're getting absolutely caned like a Dragon Ball Z moment, straight through like 15 skyscrapers. Absolutely insane. And I really felt like the tutorial levels are hard to do right. They really are. And especially for someone like myself, where, you've played a lot of games, you've been around for a long time, you've seen tutorial levels on all different size and scale, and for this to do it so eloquently, and then to be challenged as well, because I hadn't played Spider-Man since Miles, so I couldn't remember what webbing people up was. I couldn't remember it was R1. So I was like fucking up all over the place. I was getting battered. I was like, fucking hell. And then after about like 2 or 3 different Sandman encounters, the muscle memory starts kicking in. You start getting back into it and thinking, right, well, have I got this move unlocked that I used to really love doing? Do I have that yet? And all these different things. And it just does it so well that it has enough challenge on it so that it's not boring, and enough scale and scope that it's interesting throughout the entire thing. I I think they absolutely nailed it. I really do. I think they absolutely killed it. What a way to start this game off. Now, I'm conscious that you guys probably want to talk about specific parts, specific characters. Try to remember where I am in this. Is there anything that you guys want to bring to the table here to discuss?
Venom's good, isn't he?
Shut the fuck up. I don't know.
He hasn't.
I haven't
He
seen
hasn't seen
Venom.
Venom.
I haven't seen Venom. I'm joshing with you. The only Venom I've seen is that statue. Oh my God, it is a beautiful statue, isn't it? I cannot wait to see Venom. I just haven't seen him yet. I'm 8 hours in. No Venom. No mention. Well, there was a mention, but no real mention.
I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with him. I really am. I suppose this would be a good thing to discuss. The side quests, right? Now, we've seen, at this point in the game where I am, I've had the Vision Academy side quest, the Sandman, like, collect his soul side quests, and I've also had the side quest for the Prowler. And I've done all of those so far. What I appreciated about them is how different they were from Miles and from Spider-Man 1. Now, there's some that are better than others. I think for me personally, the Visions Academy ones kind of sucked. I didn't enjoy doing any of those 4 that I've done so far. I thought they were very just generic, helping some guy get his boyfriend to propose. It's like, okay, right, well, this isn't really too interesting on a gameplay level. Story-wise, it was nice, but didn't really do anything to change it up too much. You're following a drone or you're lining up mirrors. There wasn't anything there that I thought, oh, wow, this is incredible. But then the others, on the other hand, for example, the Prowler ones, I really enjoyed them. I really enjoyed finding the glyph that you got to scan. I enjoyed the holding R2 and L2 to get the haptics right, to be able to line it up in the levels. I thought that was excellent. So I'm coming away from the side quests I've done so far, feeling really engaged by them. and feeling like I want to do more. And I don't feel like I'm ticking a box off. I feel like, yeah, do you know what? These are really fun to do. Now, does that stay the same throughout the entire game, Spence? Does it keep the same level of variety, or have I seen already what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the game?
I think the side quests immensely better than they were in Spider-Man 1 and Miles. I think this, literally every single aspect of them is better. I enjoyed the Brooklyn Vision ones. They were probably the worst bunch of side quests, but they're still fine. They're still good. But it only gets better from there. All the side quests are really good, and they're just a lot better. All the puzzles in the game are so much better, I find. And it's just, yeah, they've just put a lot more effort into the side quests this time. A lot of the side quests in this game feel like main story. And that's just really nice for them to have put that amount of work into it. It's just nice. I think you're in for a good time.
The way I feel about them is exactly the same, and I've only played sort of 8 hours, as I've mentioned, that they do feel like the main story. They don't feel like a side quest. I think each one adds something to the story and a bit more mystery to what you're looking for, and they're unique, which is the best part of them. They're not just copy and paste. I think it'd be very easy for Insomniac to copy and paste kind of each encounter around and kind of just like half-arse these ones just to pad out the game. And we see this happen all the time in video games. And they're just doing it, as I said, to pad it out, to create another trophy for you guys to hunt around for. But at the end of the day, these ones are keeping me engaged, and they're something I want to do. I'm not swinging past them going, oh, there's another bloody Sandman one. No, I'm going, oh, great, we're going to find out a bit more about what's going on. That's the interest there. It gets me excited to see those pop up on my map.
All very positive again on the side quest. That's excellent to see. And I am looking forward now to just doing more of this game and just diving in and seeing more of these side quest content and seeing what's there. Now, this game, obviously, we've mentioned it a couple of little parts in passing, especially with like the fast travel system where I was saying about the flex when you're getting blasted through building to building. The PS5 implementation here, for me personally, is excellent. I don't think I've had a game handle haptics in the same way that this is, where the controller feel is just incredible. From each web shot that you do, to even just little things, like where you just gain a momentum and you can start feeling like a little bit more of a vibration through the pad as it's coming through. Like every single thing seems to be mapped into that vibration that you have. I don't think I've had it on the same level as that in any experience so far, maybe outside of Astros, which I think did haptics probably still the best on the PS5, but that is a tech demo, really. this was just on a level that I find it had so much immersion. I know that there's people that say that haptics are a gimmick or they don't like them, but I think this is the kind of game where you could play it, and I can't really imagine it without them being there, because all of a sudden they'll be strong enough that I'll notice them and think, oh my God, wow. Yeah, I can actually feel that. That feels great. And it just kind of buys me more into the game. Are you guys feeling the same way when it comes to like the haptics? And then I suppose on the same level, the adaptive triggers when it comes to doing some of these side quest content. I think both of them have been utilized amazingly here.
I think the best compliment I could give here is to actually say, I don't notice them. I think that's the best thing about them, because they're so subtle in parts and they're so meaningful in others that actually it just blurs the lines between what you're seeing on your TV and coming out your speakers and what's coming out the remote and what you're feeling. This, along with the implementation, and I have to put a shout out for Ratchet & Clank, because what they did with haptics was next level, and I feel like this is on par or slightly better in what they're doing here, because as I said, I don't notice them, and it just enriches it just makes it better. Apart from maybe the Prowler one with the triggers, that's the only time you're kind of like highlighted that something's happening. Everything else happens without you having to think about it, and it all just syncs correctly in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel the same in regards to the haptics, where I'm not really noticing them. Which is a compliment. The only time I do notice them is when you're like web winging through an air tunnel and you can feel the controller being like, oh, shoot, you're going fast. And that's probably about it. The adaptive triggers, phenomenal for those Prowler puzzles and for when you smash Sandman's stones. And I kind of had a little play about with that, where if you just press them gently, it kind of like cracks a little bit and it just kind of goes, you feel it stop. And then there's that breaking point where you snap it. It feels really nice on the controller, really nice. I think everything they've done with the controller for this game is perfect. There's not a time where I've been like, that feels wrong, or the haptics are too heavy, or they're not there at all. Everything adds to the immersion perfectly for this game, and I don't think they really could have done a better job.
Well, on the subject of like haptics and game feel and everything else, does anybody else feel like this is the first time this generation that we've had a game that just could not possibly run on anything else? Like, I really feel like out of every PS5 exclusive that we've had so far, you know, even when we're talking like Demon's Souls, Ratchet & Clank, Returnal, all these other ones that are just PS5 only, this is the first one to me that I feel like this is like the generation's kicking up. Like, we're here now. Like, this is it. This is what the PS5 can do, and it's onwards and upwards from here. Because even though I love God of War Ragnarok, I never thought at any point in that game, like, this is it. This is the generation. I just thought, wow, this is like an amazing game, right? Whereas here on PS5 and playing Spider-Man 2, I'm now thinking like, shit, we've got like another 4 years or so left of games that are going to be just raising the bar in terms of what this console can do. And what a kickoff to what is, you know, PS5 2.0 or whatever they were saying is gonna be the case going forward now. Is anyone else getting that vibe, or did you already experience that back with some of our other exclusives?
I gotta agree with you. Spider-Man 2 does feel like the next level in what we're hopefully going to expect in the future with PlayStation. And the bit that caught me is when you're swinging around Manhattan and the level of detail that you can see in every single thing that's going on. And it isn't just, as I've said, a bit of copy and paste, a bit of same textures here, same textures there. Everything feels different and thought about, okay? So it's not just like Times Square that looks beautiful, all right? It's not just Central Park that looks beautiful. It's every street on every corner looks beautiful, and there's detail in everything. There was a quest that I've just finished, and it's not a spoiler. I'm sat on a seat with an old man, okay? And that's as far as I'm going to go with describing it. But there's scratches on the back of the seat, and there's more scratches just behind where the old man's sitting. And I'm thinking, has someone chained their bike up here a little bit lazy and they've knocked that off a little bit more paint than they have down on the further bit than the end of the seat? It's just so different. Everything is different and everything is thought about. And that level of detail, I'm just like, wow, this is what we're going to get now on PS5, because the level has been set. Anything lower now, we're going to be like, wasn't as good as Spider-Man 2, was it?
Lads, I gotta completely agree. For me, I didn't really think about it throughout my playthrough. But then after I beat the game, there was some trophy cleanup I had to do. So this is no spoilers. But one of the trophies is you need to fly only using your web wings. You can't use any webs or anything. You have to use your wings to go from the financial district, so the bottom left, all the way up to the top right without touching the ground or using your webs. You have to traverse the entire map. Not a single bit of texture pop in, not a single bit of any lag or anything like that. I've only noticed one frame drop throughout this entire game, and it was during a cutscene. I've not seen any frame drops, perfect 60 the whole time, I assume. If it is dropping, not to a level I can even see with my eye, it's flawless. And being able to traverse the entirety of it all in one go and take all of it in, how beautiful it looks and how it just doesn't even load. It's just there, the fast travel, all of it. This is the PS5 and it is a hell of a showcase. I have felt it in the past. I feel like Ratchet & Clank did a good job of it. The issue is, for most games that are PS5 exclusive, it's just load times that they kind of showing off, and that's the reason it could be a PS5, like Demon Souls with the teleporting, Ratchet & Clank with the portals, even Returnal with the doors. That wouldn't open as fast. The next era wouldn't load on a PC, say. You'd have to wait by the door for a second. We don't have to do that. But this is the first time it looks like PS5, at least for me. And you can tell in playing it, this is for this console. So yeah, completely agree with both of you.
What an exciting time. What an exciting time ahead. If this is now like the end of this year, the end of the big games for PlayStation, and now we're getting into 2024 and beyond, and we don't know what's coming. Like, we don't know what's next. You know, after Arrowhead released, when it's a second party relationship with Helldivers 2, outside of like the free-to-play games and, the live service games, we don't know what's next. Can you imagine how hype it's going to be when we see like Ghost of Tsushima 2 or any of these other games that are cooking at the moment that we have no idea about? Death Stranding, of course. Like, all these different things. It's just going to be wild. It's going to be absolutely wild, let alone Wolverine. Yeah, of course. Insomniac. Now, with Spidey 2, is it right in saying at this point that Insomniac are now the crown jewel of PlayStation? We've always adored them. I mean, we've been saying ever since, like Phil from Ratchet & Clank, especially me with Resistance, that I've always loved Insomniac's work. I've really enjoyed everything they've ever done. But this game, to me, just sings on a level of quality that we haven't seen this generation so far, in my mind. And I'm now sitting here thinking, like, the work ethic of these guys to put out, a remaster, granted it's just a remaster, but Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and then this, and this to be such a step up in so many different ways. Is this the premier studio for us? Have they dethroned Naughty Dog and Santa Monica to become the top tier guys? What do you think, lads?
I think, mate, 100%. Because the issue is as well, they're so goated, but they don't even take long. They're so quick with it. We had Miles Morales as a launch title. We had Spider-Man Remastered shortly after, which went to PC as well. We had Ratchet & Clank after that, and now Spider-Man 2 already, and Wolverine on the way. Bruv, they need to settle down. The only issue I have with them is Spider-Man 2 is so good that I think it ruins Spider-Man Remastered and Miles Morales. Because going back to those games now without the web wings, you're going to feel so slow. And that is it. But other than that, that's their fault for making such a better version on an almost perfect game. They just don't miss. I think they are by far our best developer at the moment. And I just can't wait for Wolverine. Can't wait to see what they do next. They are easily our crown jewel.
And I've got to agree with you 100% there, Spence. Insomniac are a step above everybody, but it only takes one duff game or a rumor of a duff game to lower our opinion. Look what's happening to Naughty Dog at the moment with what's going on in their studio, with their multiplayer Is it on? Is it off? What's happening over there? They're getting rid of employees. We talked about it 2 weeks ago on the last show. And there's doubt in our mind that their games aren't going to come out at the same quality that we're used to. Insomniac, every time they release a game, it's a massive risk. It really is, because they've got to keep producing at this same level. And this same level, it's all the way up to 11. If I'm doing a Spinal Tap reference here for the movie buffs, because these graphics, this gameplay, every single thing about it, I'm just gushing. It's just perfect. And now they need to match that level.
Guys, I think you're right. I think I kind of agree to a certain extent. In terms of the work ethic, unmatched. You know, it's a massive studio, Insomniac, huge. They got loads of people there, all split off into different teams, and they're able to get work out and get it done and blast out quality. For me, though, I've got a feeling, much the same way that Spider-Man 1 didn't track up there in my top 3 when we talked about our PS4 exclusives, I've got a feeling that by the time we get to the end of this generation, our tops are going to be from, or my tops are going to be from Naughty Dog and Santa Monica. I've got a feeling that those two devs don't just like raise the bar on like a technical level, gameplay level everywhere else. They just seem to just influence fucking everything around them. Like a seismic fucking shift. And I think whatever Naughty Dog do cook up and whatever they do release always smokes. And it fucking bangs. You think about when we came out The Last of Us 2 and you're like, how? How could they possibly beat The Last of Us 1? And I know some people say, oh, they didn't, la 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 la. But for me, you look at how much better that game actually plays and how much deeper it is in terms of story content compared to the first one, which fucking banged already. And to do that, and then also to be able to release like the Uncharted trilogy or the Uncharted quadrilogy and everything else they've done, that studio are fucking still the creme de la creme in my eyes. Like, still the best. And then Santa Monica, at this point through Spider-Man 2, God of War Ragnarok's on another level. Again, to me. I feel like God of War Ragnarok, I think I'm going to get to the end of this generation and still be like, shit, but God of War though. Because it was just so fucking good. It was just so good. And like everything they did was like, they didn't just improve on it to a little bit. They seismically changed that game to make it just way better than what came in 2018. And as much as I appreciate what Insomniac do here, and they've really created what we're all calling a 10 out of 10, I don't know if it's going to have the legs that, say, God of War has. Now, Spence, obviously you've played both, you completed both. Are you saying that this is your favourite game on the PS5 console?
I think it's very closely in debate. Really is. Because the issue is I'm hot off Spider-Man 2. So I've got the hype train going. The game's only been out for technically 2 days. You're in for a ride, is all I can say. This game does go above and beyond. It gets better and better as you play it, and it does reach those heights. But like you're saying, God of War though. God of War, I didn't even like God of War 1. It was fine. I thought it was good. Ragnarok blew my tits off. I thought it was immaculate, and it's almost my favourite game of all time. If not, it is. I still need to think about it. I still haven't decided. So, I would... Oh, it's really close. I don't know. I really don't know. I think I would give it to God of War. But it's actually really close. Spider-Man 2 would be... If it's not number 1, it's number 2 on the PS5. No question. Not even close.
Wow. Oh my God. Bloody hell. To even be up there with that is huge praise, to be up that high. Oh my God. But, I mean, this is the thing about it, is that we know at this point, and I could be tempting fate here as you're saying, Phil, but we know that before the end of this generation, we may even get 1 or potentially even 2 more games out of Insomniac, which is just wild. Absolutely insane to think that we may only get 1 game out this generation from Naughty Dog. I reckon we'd get 1 more out from Sony Santa Monica before the end of the gen. I think seeing as God of War Ragnarok was a cross-gen title, I think we've got 1 more in them for end of generation, but to think we may get 2 more Insomniac games. Like, we haven't seen that kind of output since Naughty Dog in its heyday, where you had 3 Uncharted and a Last of Us. You know, we haven't had that level of clip of quality in a long old time over on this generation, or over on this console. So, wow, exciting times ahead. Well, I'm sure, listeners, that we are going to pick this up, and we'll probably, I imagine, end up doing a full spoiler cast on this game, much like we did for Miles Morales many, many, many years ago. That has been episode 78 of In PS We Trust, a PlayStation podcast. Listeners, I really hope that you've enjoyed the show so far. If you have, then please remember there's a couple of ways you can support us. You can, if you're listening on audio only, on Spotify, on your Apple Podcasts, on your whatever the case is, however you're consuming us on an audio only format, you can put a like on it, you can put a follow on the podcast, you can rate it. And reviews really help us find a larger audience, so please continue to do that. It really does help. Thank you. If you're on YouTube, then remember you can put a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. We are on the grind to 200. We're on 194. Very close. Very close. 6 of you will make the difference. And counting on all of you. Be better. Do it. Put a fucking like on, all right? I really mean it. I mean it. You? Hovering it right now. Oh, well done. Thank you for doing it. Really, really appreciate it. Are you enjoying Spider-Man 2? If you are, and you want to share your thoughts with us, then please write into the show. Hit us up on DM over on Twitter at InPSWeTrust, or just send us an @ whichever the case. And we will pick them up. We will collate your questions, and we will bring them up on the next episode. Or if they're spoiler heavy, we will save them for the spoiler cast. That has been it. I'm Davey.
I've been David Jaggarno.
I've been Spence.
Take care, guys.
Peace.
In PS We Trust is hosted by Davey, Phil, and Spencer. You can write into the show via our email, pswetrust@gmail.com. Our Twitter is @InPSWeTrust. To find each of us online, follow our Twitters, @SSJDavey, @PhilipHoy, @SpenPie_. Thank you for listening. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other. See ya.